And with that said, President Trump directs the Treasury Department to review the tax code. This comes days before he's expected to unveil a plan that he tells the AP will include massive tax cuts for individuals and businesses. Fox's John Decker has more live at the White House.
During a signing of that executive order on tax rules at the Treasury Department, President Trump said he would have a major tax reform announcement next week.
And we'll be having a big announcement on Wednesday having to do with tax reform. The process has begun long ago, but it really formally begins on Wednesday.
The new executive order calls for a review of significant changes to the tax code in the past year and a half to determine whether they impose what the White House calls an undue financial burden on American taxpayers. Pam?
Thanks, John. Going hand in hand with tax reform, the repeal and replacement of Obamacare, Fox News has learned language is being crafted and a vote in Congress could happen next week.
Here's a couple of things that it will do. It will maintain provisions for essential health care, guaranteed issue, and community rating. That's coverage for people who are pregnant, that sort of thing. Pre-existing conditions will be covered, keeping your children on until the age of 26.
Fox's John Roberts. Something else the White House believes could be agreed upon next week, a budget resolution that would avert a government shutdown 1 week from today. A ruling from a judge in Massachusetts calls for the preservation of all evidence related to the death of former NFL star Aaron Hernandez. He was found hanged Wednesday in his prison cell. At the closing bell on Wall Street, the Dow is down 30 points as another struggling retailer, BB, makes plans to close all of its stores. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, this family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just 1 click away from 100+ job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
Forces backed by the U.S. are said to be surrounding the ISIS de facto capital of Raqqa, Syria. The only problem, militants with the terror group are believed to have cleared out.
ISIS has essentially moved its capital to Deir al-Zor, and 2 months ago, ISIS leaders quietly began setting up the bureaucratic functions of their so-called government outside Raqqa in a town called Mayadeen. The looming battle for Raqqa is imminent, but sadly, the ISIS government is no longer there.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. The president of France calls yesterday's murder of a police officer by an ISIS sympathizer cowardly. The attacker who was killed was carrying a note praising the terror group. The political fallout is final for Florida lawmaker Frank Artilles, who used racial slurs to describe his peers.
On the day of his apology, he was asked if he planned to resign. His answer was absolutely not. A few days later, he has certainly changed his tune and has resigned. In a letter to the Senate president, he is stating the following. It is clear to me my recent actions and words that I spoke fell far short of what I expect for myself. And for this, I am very sorry. To the people of my district and all of Miami-Dade, I am sorry I have let you down and ask for your forgiveness. I am responsible and I am accountable, and effective immediately, I am resigning from the Florida State Senate.
Reporter Jessica Hawley with Fox TV affiliate WSVN in Miami. The lights are coming back on in San Francisco and trains have started running again. This after tens of thousands of Pacific Gas and electric customers lost power during the morning rush. This commuter's ride was impacted.
I came here from work and then the lights went out. It was crazy. It went pitch black.
The cause of the outage isn't clear. No injuries have been reported. Pam Puso, Fox News Radio.
A long day.
Yeah. Are you here?
Yeah.
You're here and ready.
Hey, here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, as I scroll up a little bit.
Sometimes you and I have other things to do in life, and the radio show is just kind of here.
Partly cloudy, low of 43. That's where you rank in my last radio show.
Exactly.
Saturday, overcast, high 56, low of 40. Sunday, warmer, sunny, clear, high 69, a low of 41. Right now, clear, sun's poking out a little bit, 57 degrees in Champaign-Urbana.
Mark Smith. Wherefore art thou? I didn't say that right. Hey, it's the Tay and J Show. Lon Tay, Jeremy Warner. I've been ripping up carpeting and tack strips and all that kind of fun stuff, and you've been doing other things. And
Illinois
here
has a commitment.
What?
Illinois football, that is.
Dang it!
I've been sitting on this for a day, and it has been killing me.
You cannot do that to me and the rest of our listeners.
Hey, but Illinois football needs some in-state recruiting momentum, right?
I totally agree with
that.
They
got Karan Taylor out of Peoria as their quarterback, and today, it was actually yesterday it happened, but needed to wait a little bit to actually put it out there, and I'm glad no one else scooped me. But defensive lineman Julian Pearl out of Danville has flipped his commitment from NIU to Illinois. I got that from multiple sources and finally got the okay to put it out there.
Sweet, tall kid, right?
Yeah, 6'7", 245. Really good.
Wow.
Really good basketball player, too. He's actually down in Dallas for an AAU event right now.
Cool.
So it's been tough to get a hold of him. But he was on campus yesterday for a visit. Mike Fair was the lead recruiter on him. Really, really likes him. He plays defensive line, and he plays a little bit of tight end, too.
Oh, that's perfect.
But a guy who's going to add weight pretty easily once he stops playing basketball and burning all those calories.
Quit losing weight, kids.
And once he gets into a college situation where he's got enough food, he's got the weight room, all those things, he can focus. He's ranked the number 3 offensive tackle in state by Scout.com and the number 181 offensive tackle in the country. So you miss on Hunter Woodard out of Tuscola. That hurts.
Right.
But you get a kid right out of Danville in your backyard. That's a nice commitment, a 3-star recruit on Scout.com.
I immediately thought Calais Campbell, who's 6'8" and plays that defensive line. Actually, he's a defensive tackle, which is funny, but you're thinking more offensive line. It's amazing. And I know you and Carp talked to Joey Bose. Is that how you say it?
Bose.
I'm sorry, Joey. And he is the strength and conditioning coach for Illinois. So I'm sure when he looks at a guy like that and that line of 6'7", 245, he's like, yes, bring him in here. I'm going to get him beefed up.
I talked with B.J. Luke, the Danville coach, who couldn't confirm it yesterday.
Right?
Just retired.
Good for him.
And he said this kid will put on weight easily.
I bet.
He goes, I don't worry about that. He coached a player up at Waubonsee Valley who ended up playing at Michigan and playing in the NFL as well, that had the similar kind of body, played a couple sports. He said once he got into a college program, it wasn't an issue for him.
I can't imagine. So basically you lose Woodard, who was about 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", in that range, and I think projected as a tackle out of Tuscola, but you add Pearl now, so you've kind of taken one for one here, and now you've got another offensive lineman. So right now a quarterback and an offensive lineman, essentially, even though he plays defensive line. You think that he could do both?
He plays both at Danville.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
He's going to be an offensive lineman at Illinois. So, 2 kids in state, 3-star kids, 2 of the best at their position in the state. Top 3 definitely for Karan Taylor, quarterback, and Julian Pearl, at least according to Scout.com, a top 3 offensive tackle.
And I know we're going to talk about Mark Smith. So everybody out there that's waiting for this, we are going to talk about Mark Smith.
And Charlie Moore.
And unfortunately, because we're not leading with that, we really don't know much yet. But we're going to ask Jeremy what he knows about both of those players. But football-wise, I know we talked the other day. Was that Ryan Evans, I guess, that was it Ryan? Who did we talk to the other day from Scout?
Ryan Easterling.
Ryan Evans. I'm just throwing names out. And he mentioned there were still about 2 or 3 in-state kids that Illinois was in on. The Ivy kid who's a tight end.
Yeah.
So there's still a few other Illinois kids that Lovie Smith and his staff are going after.
Yeah, and they offered another one today. Gavin McCabe out of Chicago Marist, the same school as TJ Ivy. He's a defensive lineman, can play defensive end and defensive tackle. Those guys have kind of become their focus in this state, that they're going to go all out for those kids right now. And I think Illinois had to kind of recalibrate.
Okay.
After missing on some of these kids, they had to kind of think, wait, what are we doing wrong?
Right.
Are we targeting the right guys?
Fair enough.
Because can we go all out and all in on guys like Ronnie Perkins, Vertus Brown, Houston Griffith? Are we at that point in our program where we can do that?
No.
And Lovie Smith is not one to like to do that.
No, right.
He's competitive.
Exactly.
He thinks he should get the best players everywhere. It's still really difficult when you go 3-9.
Sure.
You're Illinois, and you're going after kids that have offers from Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State. That's very difficult to win those kind of recruiting battles. And Illinois basketball and Underwood are probably, feeling a little bit of the same thing as they go after Mark Smith, and you're competing with Michigan State and Kentucky.
Big.
I mean, it's difficult to win those kinds when you haven't won many games.
And we always say, as the chicken or the egg, you got to get those kids to start winning, but it does take time, and obviously a winning culture. Illinois has tradition in both sports. There's no doubt about that, but a winning culture right now is not what Illinois has in both basketball, who's missed 4 straight tournaments, and also football, who after Lovie Smith went 3-9, not his fault necessarily, but obviously trying to bring in his own class. I found it interesting, and I heard you and Carp talk about this a little bit before the tennis match started, but the fact that the Illini football team, it's one of those where last year Lovie and these guys did a great job. Maybe this was you and I actually had talked about this. They did a great job with the in-state, and you wondered, and I did, I even fell into this trap of, is this going to be this easy? Like, they came in with a short amount of time and reeled in 10 really good prospects in the state of Illinois, and I thought to myself, hey, you know what? This is exactly what I thought Lovie and this staff would do. Now you're finding out it's a little bit tougher. And I'm sure for these guys, for Illinois and this staff, they're starting to figure out, all right, what is the best way? It's like any job. Once you've done it a year, now all of a sudden you're going to learn new things to make it more efficient. So I'm sure they're learning where can we go after? What kind of kids can we go after? And then eventually when you start winning, Jeremy, at a high level is when you definitely put all the eggs basically into a Houston Griffith.
So that's 2 commitments for Illinois. Okay. They get on the board twice this month. They're hoping to get more before the end of this spring evaluation period, of course, and then summer will kick up, and they get all these. They get a couple camps, and they hope to get more kids then. And then by the start of the season, you hope to have about half your recruiting class kind of set up like they did last year. So that's where they are in Illinois football recruiting. But I know most fans are more focused on the Illinois basketball recruiting.
I did forget to take my blood pressure medicine today, so at least another recruit helps me not panic.
Boy, our message boards, man.
Oh, I can't imagine.
I love all you premium members. I love all you guys. But
it's passion, man.
It is very passionate right now, and it is very angsty, and I get it.
Yeah,
there's a lot on the line right now when you have guys like Mark Smith, right there. If you get him, that's huge for the program. Charlie Moore would be a nice boost to the program. But there's also the thought that you could miss out on both those kids.
Absolutely, and that's tough. And I guess, is there a certain order? I know you and I are both in the corner of I'll take them both.
I've always been of the mind, go get one.
Yep, whoever wants it first.
Who wants it first? I don't know if it came down to that.
Okay.
I don't think it came down to that. But there was an interesting thing that happened this morning.
Was there a Mark Smith sighting?
With the Charlie Moore thing. Derek Piper reported last night after we were done with the show that Mark Smith and his father will take the official visit to Ohio State.
Okay.
But before we get too much into Mark,
got it.
The Chicago Tribune accidentally published, at least on their Apple News page, that Charlie Moore had committed to Kansas.
Really?
Over Illinois.
Okay.
Now, all the buzz I hear is that eventually will be true.
Okay.
That he is likely to go to Kansas.
Fair enough.
Now, the reason he
so
left...
much closer than... It is closer.
It is very much closer.
It is a lot closer than
Berkeley, California.
Which is on the other side of the country.
Yeah, it's 2,100 miles away to Berkeley, and it's only 600 and something
Good call.
Lawrence,
Just
right?
a quick little up and down on the flight.
9-hour drive to Lawrence, Kansas for his father, who's ailing. And we can joke about that.
I honestly was not joking about that. I hate that for the family, obviously.
It is closer. It is a much shorter flight, but it sounds like Kansas is gaining there.
Okay.
But that just makes it even more important to land Mark Smith.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The Charlie Moore to Kansas thing would not upset me because, it would upset me as an Illini fan. So I'm sorry if an Illinois fan just ran off the road thinking, who's Lante now? But, Kansas just lost Frank Mason. There are some openings there guard-wise for somebody to come in and play right away. And for Bill Self, this is like a perfect marriage. He's going to get a guy that already has been through the freshman rigors, if you will, of college basketball, averaged about 11 or 12 a game. He can come to a Kansas program where you're going to play in front of sold-out crowds. You're going to go to the NCAA tournament. I get all this, and I feel like that is more of a fit of, I know Kansas kind of just breached in real quick with Mark Smith, but to me, Charlie Moore's more of a fit there than a Mark Smith would be at Kansas, because you're getting a proven guy that's already done it 1 year, and you're joining a team that's ready to compete immediately for the NCAA tournament.
Well, he's got to sit out a year, too.
Oh, that's true.
He's got to sit out a year to play three.
I just recalled that. So I'm glad that
but, I mean, he's a proven power
glad I could eat up 2 minutes of the airtime for nothing. But you're right. I think down the road, obviously, that guy would fit in Bill Self's offense.
Yeah, and I think that would take up, at least right now, their last remaining scholarship offer, which would mean they're out of Jeremiah Tillman sweepstakes, correct?
Ooh, that would be.
Unless they had another transfer.
Okay, that's interesting.
And I think Mizzou fans would be pretty happy about that, or maybe SLU fans.
Are you shocked that we haven't heard anything on Jeremiah Tillman yet?
No, nothing shocks me with that recruitment. I mean, come on.
That thing's coming down to, what did we say, May 15th?
Are Missouri fans realizing what we realize?
Yes, welcome.
Nothing is as it seems in that recruitment. It's not that easy.
Nope.
Because as soon as you think you have that thing done,
then he's going to sign with Illinois on May 15th.
I don't think that's going to happen. I do not think that's going to happen.
I don't either. All right, Mark Smith.
Yeah.
What? I mean, was he shopping at Meijer? Was he eating uptown? What was the scoop?
I think Illinois felt really good about that visit.
Okay.
They felt really good that they sold this, and it was just him and Mom. Dad was not on this thing.
Okay.
Which I think is a concern.
Okay.
Because Dad seems to really like the Kentuckys, the Dukes.
Okay.
And maybe even less so Michigan State.
We're having some issues with Dad.
Yeah, and I think Mom really loves Tom Izzo.
Okay.
I think she wants her kid to pick where he wants to go.
Sure.
But there's got to be a comfort with Tom Izzo. You know what you're getting there, right?
Amen. Yeah, I mean, yes. Just watching him coach, you see the comfort.
And I think Illinois obviously feels better about itself. They feel better about that relationship, but there's still more to overcome here.
Right.
It did not end yesterday.
Okay.
Because he's going to Ohio State. And Michigan State feels really good that he left without committing to Illinois.
Okay.
And why wouldn't they? Illinois felt really good that he didn't commit to Michigan State during Tom Izzo's in-home visit the other day.
And here sits Thad Matta.
Yeah, which is intriguing.
This is intriguing.
That he's going there. I don't think he'll end up there.
A la Evan Turner.
But I think his dad wants to take him to Ohio State to compare.
Okay.
To see if he fits there better than Illinois. And I don't think it's too bad for a kid whose recruitment is really just 4 or 5 months old.
Yeah, you might as well look at everything.
You want to make sure.
Yep.
You want to make sure, and I think that's important.
I think this family has done everything right in this. I really do. I think they've done everything right.
Whether somebody's pulling for Illinois or not, I think they are going about this the right way.
I mean, they've given Illinois all the options and all the chances and still could land here. They've taken in a Kentucky. They've taken in a Michigan State. Kansas, they kind of said, you know what, you're not that interested, so we're not interested. It sounded like. And now you're gonna go visit Ohio State. Why wouldn't you? Yeah. Why wouldn't you go visit the Ohio State University? So
I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they know.
Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, I think Mark has an emotional pull to Illinois.
Okay.
Is that enough?
Right.
Is that enough? I'm not sure. Because if the family, if he's cool with Michigan State and he goes, man, I can go there, play
it's a given.
Big Ten title team next year, and then my sophomore year I can take over the main role. And I have Jaren Jackson with me, Nick Ward with me, Cassius Wentz. We could be great. I could be a top 20 pick just like Denzel Valentine.
Yes.
Right? All that stuff. He'd probably be like, yeah, even if I like Illinois and have an emotional pull there, basketball sense.
It does.
It's a business decision, right?
Total.
Yeah, so I think that could make sense for him. But I do think it's Illinois-Michigan State right now, from all the sounds of it, unless Ohio State just pulls something off this weekend.
Isn't it funny? Because I thought of two things, and I'll forget the second, so I'll go with the first. I bet Brad Underwood right now is getting a glimpse of Illinois recruiting, right?
How difficult it is now. I mean, I know fans, if they miss on both Moore and Smith, here we go again.
Yeah, right.
And I get it.
Yep.
But that's how difficult this job is right now when you have a decade of not winning. And that's why Brad Underwood has a huge task ahead of him. And if you're thinking about this staff, like Chin Coleman has the connection to the Mac Irvin Fire. Mm-hmm. He's got a connection to the Irvins in Chicago. I don't think missing on all these guys means, oh my God, this isn't going to work.
Right.
I'm not going to go there because there's a really good point guard out of Morgan Park next year.
Absolutely.
And if you told me I could pick between Charlie Moore and Ayo Dosunmu, I'd definitely go Iowa to
You would go Iowa.
Both are available to play for you at the same time.
At the same time, good call.
Right?
Unless you want me to go 2 minutes into why Charlie Moore could really help next year.
1'6'3".
Yeah, right.
And can get to the rim.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd rather have that around Trent Frazier.
Charlie Moore's about, 5'8", 5'9"?
It's a bird in the hand, man.
Absolutely.
You know, when you go into that, we've seen it so much. You put all of these eggs into one basket on one guy, and I talked with Carp about that with Mark Smith. It's the same thing with Jalen Brunson, Cliff Alexander. It's hard to go into a situation where you feel like you have to be the savior.
That is exactly right.
And
you're exactly
that's why
right.
Gross was pitching to this whole 2017 class. Come do it together.
Come together, which I thought was a great pitch.
It was, but he just didn't.
He didn't
win
on
enough
the court.
games
He didn't
to
win
have
on the
the
court.
chance to do it.
Well, and you look at Tijon. Speak about bird in the hand. You know, you got Tijon Lucas, and yes, I mean he didn't play at all, which was head scratching early. But you saw the effect and the impact he had on this Illini team by the end of the season. Is he Io? Is he Charlie? Is he Mark? We don't know. Are these kids good enough that I can just say one name? I am right now. But you saw by the end of the season what Tijon Lucas, the impact he had on this Illini basketball team, that when they made that little stretch at the end and played it even into the NIT, and he was playing defense and he was running the show, you saw what that can happen. And that's why you just take whatever guy says yes first, and then you hope the other one says, hey, I could probably go and play with him and have a good time on this. The other thing I thought about, and this is intriguing because I now have a son that's 17, unfortunately not getting recruited for golf or tennis or one of these or basketball, but I think to myself, how much of a role does the parent play in this stuff? It should be a major role, no doubt. And I thought of that because of Mark Smith's parents. But yet, I think I'm trying to put this in my mind, and all of our listeners that have a son or a daughter that's about this age would put into your mind of how much do you finally say, all right, Lucas, this is your call. This is where you're going to spend the next 4 years of your life playing basketball. Yeah. It's your call, man. But before you do that, let's just do this to make sure that's the case. I totally get it. I do too.
I think that's great that maybe you should go on another visit just to make sure.
Agree.
Or maybe something on that visit opens your eyes and said, maybe I don't want to go to that school I was planning on, but I want to go to this other school.
Or maybe all of these make Mark Smith say, yep, Illinois is where it's at. I feel the most comfortable when I walk on that campus. When I walk in and I talk to whomever, I feel more comfortable at Illinois, so maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But the bad news is you don't feel comfortable because Brad Underwood just got here.
And here's the scary proposition is you miss on both these guys. Ugh. You sign Francesco Badacci.
Yeah.
You know, Cam Johnson, you're not in his top five or top six anymore. You're out of that one. We'll see. Charlie Moore seems like he's going to go to Kansas. So you're talking about a roster that next year has a lot of holes, but this is why you hired a different coach.
Yep. And these recruiters.
Yeah, I mean, you hired a different coach and recruiters and he hired those recruiters so that in a couple years you can get these kids, but Mark Smith would be a huge stepping stone. Like, that would be a huge start to this rebuild.
There was a movie, and it was one of the earlier movies, and I can't think of what it was, but you know how The Office used the terminology or the technology of where they would look at the camera.
Yeah.
You know, there was a movie early on, and I'm talking when they would have been young Jer, where a guy looks at the camera and he's like, is it her or is it me? It's her, isn't it? And I feel like that's what's going on with Illinois. It's like, with us. It's like, is it us? Since we've started this radio show, really things have been crappy. Is it us or is it them?
I don't think it's us.
Okay, it's them, right?
Yeah.
It's not us. We have no impact.
There's been other radio shows that talk Illinois sports.
But boy, have we been on a interesting path since we started this show.
We've been good for the Cardinals.
Boom. Good call.
Good for the Cubs.
Justin Spring won a national title.
That's right.
Yep.
Illinois baseball at its best season ever.
They're good.
Softball's crushing it right now.
Yes.
Nicole Evans, 15 home runs.
Goodness, she's too good to come in the studio now. I think she's too good. There's no way we could get her.
I told Austin to get her in studio.
Yes.
He's trying.
Oh, he's in her. What is up with Austin? He looks all dapper today. That is a sweet shirt. Everybody watching on YouTube, here in a minute, you're going to see Austin walk in not a suit and tie, but he's got a tie on and a shirt that I want. I want that bad.
If you want to weigh in 359-2255, that's 217-359-2255. You can call us on the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line or text the Cheap Hour text line. Got a lot of texts coming in on the Illini Hoops Talk.
I need to open that.
If you want to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, just search Tay and J Show. I tweet at J Warner Scout.
At Lon Tay, ESPN CU.
Download the WSJK app. Get our podcast at ESPNCU.com or find us on iTunes. That's all powered by GTPS Insurance. As Lon just said, we have a YouTube stream. You can watch us live and watch Lon doing stuff.
That's what Harry always does, the
arrow, the Fernando Rodney.
So, but when I don't do it as cool as the young kids.
Yeah. Does your kid do any of those when he strikes people out?
No, you better not.
I hear he's got a great K per 9 going.
My goodness. Right now he's working it.
Yeah.
He's working that fastball, 9 to 10-year-olds.
I like it.
Just throw it across the plate.
48 miles an hour down the middle. Our intern today, Harry Black, and you'll get an update from Austin Berkland coming up. We'll talk Illini Hoops galore with Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com at 4:15. And we'll talk a little NFL draft and Bears with Kevin Fishbane, Pro Football Weekly at 4:45.
The draft is it next weekend?
That's right.
Yes. All right, it's the Tay and J Show.
An ESPN Radio Mike and Mike Extra Point.
Jalen Rose, Booger McFarland, Louis Riddick in our studio.
I would love to pick your brain on what you said about Mixon, and you mentioned him being the most talented of them all, but also you noted that he was somebody, because of those issues, that you wouldn't touch.
The scales can't always be sliding based on, well, what can he bring to me from a talent level? Because at some point you have to stand for something, and something has to be a deal breaker for you at some point in time. And that kind of thing, domestic violence, having daughters, having sisters, those are the kinds of things when you think about that. And if it was your wife, your daughter, your sister, would you say, okay, I'll give this guy a second chance if you saw that happen to your wife, your daughter, your sister?
Hear more from Mike and Mike tomorrow morning on ESPN Radio.
At Ferguson, service is our most important part. So if service is the part you're missing from your supply house, come into one of our 600 nationwide locations and let our team help yours. Whether it's tracking down those hard-to-find parts, having your order ready and waiting at our will call, or helping you manage your inventory with our SKU app and online ordering, the edge every trade professional needs is right around the corner. And with Ferguson Pro Plus, you'll earn redeemable points with every online purchase. Come into one of our locations or visit Ferguson.com today.
O'Reilly. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up 5 quarts of Castrol Edge Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a Wix filter for $32.99 and get a $10 O'Reilly gift card after mail-in rebate. Protect your engine from sludge and wear with the Castrol and Wix Oil and Filter Special at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your Trane Comfort Specialist. Right now is a great time to buy a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. For a limited time only, we're offering 0% interest for 6 years. That's no interest with equal payments and approved credit for 6 years on any qualifying Trane system. Or, here's another way you can save on a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. Trade in your old system. For a limited time, you can get a $1,000 trade-in allowance on any qualifying Trane system. So pick your best deal. No interest for 6 years or a $1,000 trade-in allowance and start saving. Call 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. Remember, it's hard to stop a train. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
See Lands for program details. Call 888-653-0051 for details about credit costs and terms. Regular APR is 28.99 for newly opened accounts. APR may vary, subject to credit approval.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Duracon from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
There's nothing better than real Texas barbecue, and no better place to get it than Hickory River Smokehouse. Every cut of beef brisket, pork shoulder, turkey breast, pork loin, and chicken are carefully selected and rubbed with its signature spice blend, infused with hickory smoke for a juicy award-winning flavor, and served up right here in Central Illinois for over 20 years. How about a taste as big as Texas for lunch, dinner, your next get-together, or to watch the big game? You're guaranteed to be the fan favorite. HickoryRiver.com or on North Cunningham in Urbana.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Well, I don't really have a button that clicks Garth Brooks, but I'll tell you this over Disturbed. Hey, are you ready for Garth Brooks? ESPN Radio is Tay and J. We have tickets you can win Wednesday afternoon, this coming Wednesday. It'll be Carp and I here. And listen, between 3 and 6, you may be going to a Garth Brooks concert for free. And that's thanks to ESPN 93.5 and the Tay and J Show. Garth Brooks going to play 4 shows in Champaign-Urbana at the State Farm Center. Cannot wait for that. It is time. Chicken and rice.
That sounds good.
I didn't have you up.
Okay.
Go. That sounds good.
I'm Austin Berkland with your 3:30 Sports Center update brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote. You get up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care through April. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. 4-star Mr. Basketball point guard Mark Smith had his unofficial visit to Illinois yesterday, and as Derek Piper reported, Mark Smith had a, quote, great time on campus, end of quote. Mark will still visit Ohio State University this weekend for an official visit. Adam Zagori of Zagsblock.com reports that he still may visit Kentucky and Duke. Programs are fishing for transfer targets, and the Illini lost out on one of their bigger fish today. Pitt transfer Cam Johnson gave his top 6 to ESPN's Jeff Goodman today, which Illinois was not a part of. Here's Johnson's list: Kentucky, Oregon, Ohio State, UCLA, Arizona, and TCU. In Illinois football news, Lovie and crew has a commitment. They flipped offensive lineman Julian Pearl from Danville, who was originally an NIU commit. Pearl is a 3-star prospect who ranks 3rd in Illinois offensive tackles and 81st overall in offensive tackles. The Blues will travel to Minnesota in hopes of finally ending the series in 5 games on Saturday. The Notes lost Game 4 2-1 at the Scottrade Center. The puck will drop at 2 p.m. on Saturday. On to the woes of Chicago. The Chicago Blackhawks have been swept by the Nashville Predators.
Scores.
They lost last night 4-1. The Hawks are the first NBA or NHL team in history to be swept as the number 1 seed in the playoffs by an 8 seed. More bad Chicago news as the 2-0 leading Bulls have issued a press release saying that Rajon Rondo is out indefinitely with a small thumb fracture. Rondo averaged 11.5 points and 10 assists per game in the 2 playoff games. Game 3 begins tonight at 6 p.m. Catch it on ESPN or CSN Chicago. That, my friends, is the update.
So I can't catch the game tonight on TBS. That's bad news for you guys.
The Bulls?
Yeah.
Is that TBS or TNT?
Oh, it's TNT, isn't it?
Yeah.
So ESPN's probably not a good thing for you guys.
No.
I mean, just because of that, Rajon Rondo's getting hurt. Hey, by the way, this whole thing about the Chicago Blackhawks, and it is the Tay and J Show, Lonte, Jeremy Werner, I'm going to state a fact. Right now, I'm going to state a fact.
Okay.
If the St. Louis Blues were the number 1 seed and they were swept in the first round by an 8 seed to become the first ever number 1 seed to get swept by an 8 seed, if that happened, my Twitter, my Facebook, my text, all of them would be blown up by Blackhawks fans saying, ha ha, blah, blah. You know what I did last night when the Blackhawks lost? I kept ripping up carpeting. You know what? Because to me,
you're a better fan.
I am a better fan than you Blackhawks fans.
Better than the Blackhawks fans.
No, really, I cannot.
Because if the Cubs would not have come back from a 3-1, like if they would have gotten lost in 5 games, you would have been quiet.
I would have never said a word
wouldn't
to anybody.
Have said anything?
Except Austin.
Wouldn't have mentioned 109.
No.
You wouldn't have said it.
I would not have written that. I would not have gotten a license plate that said 109 and counting.
109 ...
Right, that would be perfect.
Can you get periods as your...
I don't know. I'm sure the state, if you pay the state money, I bet they'll give you periods.
They can't be beggars right now.
But this Blackhawks, I read this morning, Scott Powers, of course, who joins us here on the show. I read his article from The Athletic. And, man, it's just a weird thing. I mean, the Blackhawks had one of their better regular seasons ever, 109 points. Speaking of 109, they had 109 points in the regular season, and then they get swept. I mean, Nashville, wow.
If Harry has any thoughts, he can hop in on here.
He's eating.
As the Blues are up 3-1 as they try to close their series as well. I never would have thought the Blues would last longer than the Blackhawks in this thing. But we also got to say, Nashville looks good.
They look really good. They're fast. They're playing the puck well. I mean, they're being physical. Pecorine looks good. I mean, they look good.
Yeah, the Blackhawks scored 3 goals.
Unbelievable.
3 goals. And Jonathan Taves was just non-existent. And that's happened before.
It has.
In the playoffs, in playoff series. But he always comes back.
Yep.
But there wasn't enough time in this one. And then Seabrook looks old.
He does.
Hossa looks older.
He does.
Well, Hossa was probably like 55 years old.
Well, he is old, right?
Yes.
He is old. And it's funny, before we get to Harry, you mentioned, the Blackhawks score 3 goals in this series, never more than 1 in a game. And yes, you have to give 90% of the credit. Somebody just ran a red light. That's cool. You have to give 90% of the credit to Nashville with regards to winning the series, but you have to lay some of this blame, Harry, on the Blackhawks only getting 3 goals. There is way too much talent there for them to only get 3 goals in a series. That's ridiculous.
The Predators did play a really good series.
Sure.
But I wouldn't be surprised if this was more of something they game planned for Chicago. If you look at the way they played, they were putting 4 guys in the neutral zone. They weren't letting Chicago use their playmakers. Kane wasn't getting in any open ice.
Yep.
Panarin wasn't doing anything. You said Taves. This might not work against a team like St. Louis in the next round, who doesn't have – you have Tarasenko, but you don't have one guy – who can change the game with one string of moves.
That is correct. I mean, the Blues will play forecheck, forecheck football, forechecking hockey, which means you dump the puck in behind the other goal, and you get in there and you try to hold the puck in, and that's how you try to make offense and create offense.
And also, when you have, if you're keeping a team like Chicago from getting anything really going, and then when they do maybe get something going, if you have a brick wall like Pecorine.
Sure.
Jake Allen's been great. He's been amazing. Cam Talbot's been doing great. Pecorine might be the 2nd or 3rd best goalie in the playoffs.
It's amazing. Isn't it?
He's amazing. He's one of the most underrated goalies in recent history.
Well, it's weird. It's weird to see the Blackhawks knocked out. Harry, thank you, buddy.
Yeah, and it's what does this mean for the future?
Right.
Does it mean anything? Should it mean anything for the future of the Blackhawks?
I mean, the one thing that the Blackhawks, if you remember, the one thing that has happened to them about the last 3 or 4 years, they've played at a high level, but then at the end, they've always run into a salary cap issue.
Yeah.
And they've had to let somebody go. Now, like a Johnny Oduya. Now, I know they got him back. I don't think they have that issue this year. So finally, the Hawks may have a little...
That Seabrook and Hossa contract keeps you from doing a lot of things.
It does.
But it was worth it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what we can do is we can look back and say, well, they're not going to look good maybe for the next couple... Well, they are because they have a lot of talent.
Amen.
And they were the 1 seed.
Yes.
So the regular season went pretty dang well for them. Right. And they've won 3 titles doing what they're doing.
Boom.
So, I mean, this is a really embarrassing postseason.
It is.
But franchise-wise, maybe they won't be the favorite going into next year, but they're going to definitely be a contender once again. And that's what's been amazing is in this salary cap era of the NHL, what Stan Bowman's been able to accomplish with this kind of turnover every year.
It's crazy.
It's pretty amazing. And it's, it's like the Cardinals. Every year they get to the playoffs.
Right.
But, except for last year, but every year they got to the playoffs, one year it might be bad.
Yeah.
One year you might have a bad year, and Nashville's a pretty talented
That's
team.
what happens. And like I said the other day, it takes grit to win in the playoffs. And the Blackhawks are missing a little grit right now. But as long as Kane and Taves and Duncan Keith are on that team, they're always going to be a threat to me. And there'll always be a threat. And on the other side, the Blues, we mentioned Vladimir Tarasenko, and I mean, there was even an article this morning in the Post-Dispatch down in St. Louis about he's got to get going. I loved how all of a sudden it was panic articles everywhere because the Wild won a game.
Yeah.
But I told you the other day.
You got 4 chances,
Yeah,
right?
you got 4 shots to get this done, and hopefully they'll do it tomorrow. I hate this extra day now in between. But they'll get the shot tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. But it would be nice to get Vladdy Tarasenko going, because when that guy is sniping like he can, it makes a huge difference for the Blues. But the one thing that he does is he attracts so much to him that it opens up guys like Jaden Schwartz and Vladimir Sobotka and some of these other guys to score. The other thing is Stasny today skated with the top line. That would be huge to get him back. I don't know if you're rushing back. I don't think you have to with your up 3-1. But you may see now Stasny even in Game 5, and that would be a nice pick-me-up for the Blues.
Switching to the NBA, the Bulls are going to look to take a 3-0 lead tonight versus the 1-seed Celtics. But just when you're starting to feel great about Rajon Rondo and the Bulls, Rondo has a thumb fracture.
Come on, Rajon.
And he's probably out indefinitely, maybe out for the playoffs, at least through the second round, most likely.
Can't you tape that up? Any other finger you can, I think.
It's amazing that as bad as that team was with him and Wade and Butler on the court through these first 2 games,
they've looked great.
He's been phenomenal. I mean, Butler is the best player on the floor.
Yes.
But Rajon Rondo, when he's on the court, the net efficiency for offense or for the team is plus 14.6. When he's off the court, it's minus 5.4.
Wow.
And he's had what, 20 assists through the first 2 games, a bunch of rebounds. He's just been exactly what the Bulls were expecting him to be or hoping he would be. But defensively, he's been great too, shutting down those guards, especially Isaiah Thomas, making his life a little bit more difficult. So now you put Jerry Grant in there, and the Celtics are a good team.
Yes.
Will it matter that Rondo's out? Because during the season, it didn't matter, but it seems like they'd flip the switch once this series started. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Bulls adjust and the Celtics, how they adjust to the Bulls just dominating the rebounds.
I always, and this is so stupid now because after the year that he's had, Russell Westbrook, but I always considered Rajon Rondo the poor man's Russell Westbrook. He's got the hops. He can get to the rim. He's one of those guys that, circa 2013, 14, maybe even 12, Rondo was good.
Yeah.
I mean, that kid could score with anybody. He could get up and down the court. And what stinks here is that I know the Bulls aren't going to win this thing, right? I know they're not going to win a title, and they're not going to beat Cleveland. They probably wouldn't even win the next series, maybe against Washington. But here you are. It's a nice little feel-good story working along, and then all of a sudden a stupid injury.
Yeah.
I hate injuries.
No, it stinks.
I just hate them.
It's part of sports.
It is.
He wasn't really a factor for them.
No.
For a really long time this season.
He never got off the bench for a while, did he?
But they played their best basketball in the last month or so when he's been out there.
With him.
So that's what's going to be interesting. I think Dwayne Wade's got a lot more pressure on him, and Jimmy Butler has to be the superstar that he is.
We can do this later, but give me a real quick synopsis. Do you bring Rajon back next year? What do the Bulls do now? No. You just don't know, right? I mean,
I think what will happen is if they win this series, they'll justify that.
Okay.
They'll justify bringing this whole crew back together, which I was fine for it with a year.
Right.
But, I mean, really long term, you got to find something different.
You do.
And late in the season, they finally turned all their young guys, and then they had more injuries, and they just go, okay, well, let's get Rondo back in there, and it worked out. Now Wade's back, and it's working out a little bit. So
and now you got injuries.
They would find this season so successful if they win the first round.
Well,
but I will say it's been these first 2 games have been fun.
Yeah, right. And the Bulls are happy. They've got 2 games coming up here at the United Center. They make a little money and maybe even a 5th. You never know.
Every once in a while, LeBron James reminds everybody he's the best player on the planet.
Oh, my goodness.
Right?
He's
every once in a while, because we'll be talking about Russell Westbrook as we should.
Oh, sure.
Or James Harden as we should, or Kawhi Leonard, or Kevin Durant.
Yep.
And LeBron's like, okay, take your MVP. But last night...
This is when I'm going to show up.
Last year's NBA Finals, down 3-1. Right? He just decides, or the Finals before, where he almost beat the Warriors by himself.
Yep.
Right? Just by himself.
Exactly.
And he just reminds everybody that he's the best player in the world. He had 41 points with a triple-double. The Cavs were down 25 at halftime.
Man.
And they outscored the Pacers by 30 in the second half. And LeBron was just ridiculous.
Is it just toying? Are they just toying with the Pacers?
They sat Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving for the entire fourth quarter long, and they crushed the Pacers.
Unbelievable.
Now, they should beat the Pacers. They should beat the Pacers within 5 games, right?
My goodness.
And I think they are toying a little bit, but it just, everyone worrying about the Cavs in that Eastern Conference, I go, no.
Nope.
Because they have that guy.
Yep.
That man is just, no matter what you want to think about LeBron, he's one of the best players we've ever seen. He's one of the best NBA players of all time, and he showed it again last night and reminds everybody that no matter what, whether you love Westbrook or Harden or Durant or Steph, it's that guy is the best player in the world, and if you want to win a championship, he gives you the best chance.
And I love that we're worrying about him, and I think it's only them and the Spurs that are up 3-0 in a series. I think. Right. I mean, I haven't checked the stats, but I'm pretty positive on that. So here we worry about poor LeBron and the Cavs, and they're up 3-0.
Yeah.
Just because they won by a point in Game 1.
Most 30-point, 10-assist games in a playoff career. Michael Jordan, 15. LeBron, 14. Jerry West, 14.
Wow.
Most triple-doubles in a playoff career. Magic, 30. LeBron, 17.
Magic was so good.
Yeah.
Man, when you start comparing to guys like that, you know you're good.
He scored or assisted on 73 points last night.
Well, how about, because I wasn't here yesterday, did you guys talk about Westbrook at all? Didn't he go for 50?
50, and he shot 40-something times. Missed 14 shots in the fourth quarter.
I heard I was listening to the Russillo show, I guess. They said it was painful to watch.
Russillo was on the mark.
Yeah.
Westbrook was phenomenal for 3 quarters, and then he tried to do it all himself.
Got it.
And he did that a lot with Durant.
Wow.
And that's part of why Durant wanted to leave.
Wanted to get out of
is
there.
because they were up 3-1 on the Warriors, and then these fourth quarters where it's close or they have the lead, the Warriors play great basketball. Clay goes off, Steph goes off, Draymond goes off.
And Russ goes off on his own.
And Russ just tries to do it all by himself because he's got this big chip on his shoulder. I think that's why he wanted to stay in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
He just went, I'm the best player in the world. It's like, well, no, you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
You need other people to help you. LeBron understands that.
Sure.
Jordan understood that.
Without a doubt.
Steve Kerr made a huge shot. John Paxson made a huge shot. Other guys made huge shots. And Jordan, yes, he had a bunch of those makes. He had a bunch of misses, too. He didn't make every one.
Those were good teams, though.
But he knew he needed help.
Yep.
Russ feels like he doesn't want that help.
And you can have the MVP all day as long as LeBron's saying you can have that all day.
Yeah.
Give me the NBA title. So, I look, it's coming down, Cleveland and Golden State. And who doesn't want to see that again?
I had a big moment in my life yesterday.
You did?
Yeah.
I think I saw it.
Yeah, we need to talk about that coming up.
I can't wait to chat.
Also, the Cardinals and White Sox competing for a player.
Yeah, this could be interesting.
This could get interesting.
Okay,
yes.
I want to find out more about this, kid. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. We just talked about the NHL and the NBA, and about 6 people texted in about Charlie Moore and
we'll
Mark
get
Smith.
to it.
Well, I promise you we'll continue to talk about that as we go along. 359-2255. It is the Tay and J Show.
Spring is finally here, which means you're probably planning picnics at the park and road trips you've been waiting for all winter. It also means the Honda Dream Garage sales event is back. It's the best time of year to find the perfect kind of Honda for everything you have planned this spring. Whether that's the let's see where this road takes us kind of Honda.
Let's go!
Or the trip to take the kids apple picking kind of Honda.
Here we go! Yes, I love apples. Apples rock.
Or, well, the perfect Honda for you. Because right now, well-qualified buyers can get 0.9% APR on awesome Hondas, like the 2017 Accord. That's a Kelley Blue Book Best Buy with available 7-inch display audio kind of Honda.
Visit your local Central Illinois Honda dealers today.
See dealer for financing details. For more information, visit KelleyBlueBooksKBB.com. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelley Blue Book Co., Inc.
We're doing your out and about with Visit Champaign County. Obviously busy this weekend. Terry's joining us. Terry, what do we need to know about?
It's a very exciting weekend in Champaign County with the Christie Clinic Illinois Marathon back this weekend. Tonight, the 5K kicks off, and tomorrow you can cheer on the 10K, half and full marathon. And, of course, you can join us at the 27th mile celebration with food trucks, inflatables, and entertainment from 90s Daughters.
Let's talk about another tradition that happens in Champaign-Urbana. Ches Ebert, the widow of Roger Ebert, coming to town to celebrate Ebert Fest this weekend.
That's right. Ebert Fest is back at the Virginia Theater. They have special guest Norman Lear, who is headlining the event, and they're going to have a variety of films playing throughout the weekend. It's already underway. You can still get individual tickets for films that are available at the door, so make your way over to the Virginia.
And something that you want to talk about happening in Urbana, a new playscape, correct?
The Urbana Park District is doing a ribbon cutting for their new natural playscape at the Anita Purvis Nature Center on Saturday. The Friendship Grove Playscape invites kids to play with nature, and they want you all to head out there for Earth Day.
All right, check out all the details online right now. Visit ChampaignCounty.org. Don't miss the 48th annual Kappa Kappa Gamma Flower Sale, with net proceeds this year benefiting Cunningham Children's Home. The sale will take place May 4th through the 6th at the Indian Acres Swim Club, 1 Arrow Road in Champaign. The annual sale includes geraniums and many other types of annuals in a variety of colors, patio gardens, hanging baskets, herbs, potted plants, and foliage. Don't miss this sale May 4th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., May 5th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and May 6th from 9 a.m. to noon. It's the 48th annual Kappa Kappa Gamma Flower Sale, May 4th through the 6th at the Indian Acres Swim Club.
Hi, it's Belinda from Fancy Thrift and Resale Emporium in Villa Grove. And as an entrepreneur, one of my passions is helping other small businesses to succeed. That's why I'm inviting you to our Spring Fanciful Philo Fun Festival and Small Business event on Saturday, May 6th from 1 to 8 p.m. at the Frank Center in Philo. A fun family event where businesses, entertainers, and vendors will showcase what they offer, from chair massages to delectable treats and mini workouts and more. This is a great way to get more information about locally owned businesses, as over 20 small businesses and vendors will be on hand. So mark your calendar now for our Spring Fanciful Philo Fun Festival and Small Business event on Saturday, May 6th from 1 to 8 p.m. at the Frank Center in Philo. Get more details on Facebook. Just search Fancy Thrift and click on events. Again, go to Facebook and search Fancy Thrift.
It's warming up around Champaign, and that means it's time to get outside and ride in a Polaris off-road vehicle. And the best time to buy is during the Polaris Spring Sales event. You'll find great financing, plus rebates up to $2,000. You'll even get a free 2-year extended warranty on any full-size Ranger, or any Sportsman 450 or 570 ATV. See your Polaris dealer now. Offers valid through April and vary by model. No charge for promotional 2-year extended warranty. See dealer for details. Off-road vehicles can be hazardous to operate. Always wear a helmet and take a safety training course.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air, they all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111. Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday mornings 7 to 9 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
So if you need another reason that Madison Bumgarner's a hick, hey, we love him for it.
Did he have a chew-in when he did this?
I bet he did. He's headed for the DL after injuring himself while dirt biking.
What?
On the team's day off.
Oh, no.
Sustained bruised ribs and a grade 1 or 2 left shoulder AC sprain. Out of the hospital, set to be reevaluated next week. Giants 6-10 right now.
We laugh about that. And then you look at the Giants who are paying him all this money saying, are you really serious? You're out dirt biking?
Did we learn nothing from Jay Williams?
Yeah, right.
Or Ben Roethlisberger?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, guys,
I guess it's up to them.
I know,
but I would have that in every contract.
I would too, and I'm sure it's in there about hang gliding, parasailing. Yeah, I was going to say I'd be like, you're fine with hang gliding because I don't think there's much of a injury involved in that one. It's much worse. Well, that's interesting for Madison Bumgarner.
I guess we could say the same thing about cars and stuff like that. But, man, dirt bike.
We're in a missile every day, basically, driving around. All right, 359-2255 if you want to weigh in. Sometimes in life, we have big moments.
I know.
And the other night, Andrew had a big moment, had a big game, and I was so proud.
How many strikeouts he have?
He had 14.
And how many innings?
He's got 20 Ks now in 7 1/3. You got to love, though, 9 and 10-year-old. It's basically, if you get it anywhere near the plate, number one, it's a strike.
Yeah.
And number two, most of them aren't hitting it. So it's like, hey, just throw it up there and see what happens.
All right, so he's got
7 1/3.
times 9.
I don't even know how to calculate.
His K per 9 is 24.
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, that's pretty solid.
Ridiculous.
I like it. All right, so I had that moment, and that's awesome. And I was like, yeah, but I can remember back to both of my boys doing exactly what yours did.
I got home. My son is 8.5 months old.
I love this.
I got home, and my wife goes, he took a step.
Ooh.
Like she said, she was taking out stuff.
That is really early for a boy.
Yeah, he was taking out laundry, and he stood himself up on the laundry basket, which he does. He's been doing all the time. This kid's been wanting to walk since he was 4 months old. Like once he was able to crawl, he was finally like happier.
Yeah,
and he was really
he
frustrated he couldn't move.
Right.
And ever since then, he's been trying to walk.
You guys are in for a walk.
Anytime he's in the walker, whatever it is, he just wants to walk. So he stood himself up and took a step towards her and let go.
Oh, my.
So she goes, I don't know. So we put him down.
Yeah.
He took like 4 or 5
it.
steps.
I saw it.
That wasn't the first time he did it. We didn't record that one. That was the first. He took 4 or 5 steps. I yelped. Like I went, oh! Like that. It was the
scared him.
least manly thing I've ever done. It terrified him. He started crying, and I'm like, dang it, no, that was so great. I was happy. I'm happy. So
right, way to go, Jeremy.
Like we start cheering him up a little bit. He does it again, and we record it.
It was so cute.
Yeah, he took like 4 or 5 more steps. But after he landed in my wife's arm, he started crying again because he probably thought I was going to yelp again.
Isn't that funny? Like now he associates. Now he won't walk anymore because he associates that dad being mad. Isn't that the neatest thing?
It was just a ridiculously natural emotion out of me.
Exactly.
That was that's the happiest thing.
Oh, that's so
I've
cute.
seen in forever.
And the best part about this, for those that aren't friends of Jeremy on Facebook, because I know you keep yours to friends and family, is that he's got his white onesie on.
Yeah.
With the big old thighs that you love in a baby that you just want to just chew on. And when he first takes the first step, he gives that after you're coming out of a bar at 2 a.m. and you're like, whoa.
He stuck his hand straight up in the air.
And he was like,
takes one step, not confidently. Then he took the second and third, oh, I got this.
Here he goes.
And then he just starts leaning towards one way, and Mom caught him.
And Tiff was just far enough. I mean, she's scooting back. She was scooting back, and then she realized, all right, that's as far as I can go.
Cool,
that was that broke my heart watching it this morning. That was so cute.
And as everyone tells me, now your life will never be the same.
No, because it sounds like, first of all, it sounds like he's a mover anyway.
We haven't baby-proofed anything, so he's hit his head a lot on the coffee table. Not fall forward, but he'll just bump it and start crying.
Well, boys aren't even supposed to walk till after 1.
Nah,
usually girls are the quicker walkers.
He's been set on this for a while.
I'll tell you what.
He's a crazy one.
You and Tiff, I'm just going to laugh.
We'll talk more Illini recruiting next hour. Brad Sturdy, OrangeandBlueNews.com. We'll talk some draft with Kevin Fishbane, Pro Football Weekly as well.
Nice. Lot to do. Whatever. Tay and J Show. Yeah. DP Dough is the original Calzone company, and they cater all types and sizes of events, from office orders to private parties to entire visiting football teams. Everyone will be sure to enjoy something different than the same old sandwiches or pizza. DP Dough also delivers to nearly all of Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy until late at night. So give them a call or order online when you're hungry and no one else is delivering. With over 1 million calzones served since opening in 2006, DP Dough is sure to satisfy and fill you up. DP Dough, the original Calzone company.
Hey, this is Brad again with Kramer Siding and Window Company, and for over 60 years, we've been providing worry-free home improvements. If you've thought about either siding, windows, maybe you need to replace that roof, how about a deck, a pergola, awnings? We also have the 4-season sunrooms and screen rooms, or the gutter helmet. If any of those home improvements are in your near future, call us right now at Kramer Siding or stop by our beautiful showroom at 708 North Country Fair Drive.
Money Smart Week is back April 22nd through the 29th. There's always something new to learn about money management, so make sure you get involved with one or many of the events planned for Money Smart Week 2017. It's an entire week of classes, workshops, training programs, and seminars to address money management at every stage of life. Everyone will benefit, from kids to young adults to those getting ready for retirement. This week of events is for everyone. Visit MoneySmartWeek.org for a list of events surrounding Money Smart Week, or search Money Smart Week Champaign County on Facebook.
Spring is finally here, which means you're probably planning picnics at the park and road trips you've been waiting for all winter. It also means the Honda Dream Garage sales event is back. It's the best time of year to find the perfect kind of Honda for everything you have planned this spring. Whether that's the let's see where this road takes us kind of Honda. Let's go! Or the trip to take the kids apple picking kind of Honda.
Here we go.
Yes, I love apples. Apples rock.
Or, well, the perfect Honda for you. Because right now, well-qualified buyers can get 0.9% APR on awesome Hondas, like the 2017 Accord. That's a Kelley Blue Book Best Buy with available 7-inch display audio kind of Honda.
Visit your local Central Illinois Honda dealers today.
See dealer for financing details. For more information, visit KelleyBlueBooksKBB.com. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelley Blue Book Co., Inc.
Renew, energize, and donate. Join Keller Williams Realty of Champaign, the real estate center of Illinois, for their annual Red Day, Thursday, May 11th, the company's annual day of service dedicated to renewing, energizing, and donating to their local communities. As part of the Red Day effort, Keller Williams Associates will spend the day with See You at Home, building new sheds, painting, light remodeling, and landscaping at multiple locations offered by See You at Home. For more information about Red Day, visit kwchampagneredday.com. That's kwchampagneredday.com. Go to kwchampagneredday.com.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
President Trump calls it the first step toward tax reform, an executive order designed to determine if recent changes to the tax code have imposed an undue financial burden on American taxpayers.
We're now in the process of rebuilding America, and there's a new optimism sweeping across our country.
This as the president prepares to unveil his much-anticipated tax plan.
He plans on rolling out his new tax reform package on Wednesday or, quote, soon after, with an emphasis on the or soon after, just in case the thing isn't fully cooked by Wednesday of next week. But the president wasting no time in trying to roll out his signature tax reform legislation. That's what he campaigned on.
Fox's John Roberts. During the campaign, the president also promised to repeal and replace Obamacare. The White House says a second attempt to do that could be voted on next week. An update on the health of former President George H.W. Bush. His spokesman just tweeting that he'll remain hospitalized in Houston through the weekend. The former president was admitted last Friday due to a mild case of pneumonia. Some American tourists in Paris are reacting to yesterday's terror attack that left a police officer dead.
We would still come here tomorrow, no problem.
The assailant who was killed was an ISIS sympathizer who had plotted against police before. A change of plans for United Airlines CEO Oscar Munoz. He's removed a provision from his contract, making him board chairman next year. This after the company came under fire due to the forcible removal of a passenger from a flight. The United board also revising its executive compensation program, tying it to customer experience. On Wall Street, the Dow down 30 points, the S&P losing 7. You're on the Fox Report. Fair and balanced.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, this family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
Are the Russians testing the response time of the U.S. Air Force? Twice this week, due to moves by Moscow, fighter jets had to be scrambled off the coast of Alaska.
Last night, a pair of long-range nuclear-capable Tupolev 95 Bear bombers flew near Alaska and Canada, staying in both countries' air defense zones for several hours. On April 19th, a pair of Russian spy planes flew near the Aleutian Islands in the Bering Sea, staying in the U.S. air defense zone for a few hours before departing. Wednesday night, the U.S. Air Force did not scramble any fighter jets or airborne warning planes, AWACS planes, but last night, 2 F-22 stealth fighter jets were scrambled to intercept the Russian Bear bombers. The Russian jets in both incidents remained in international airspace.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. It's unclear how close the Russians got to the U.S. mainland. If the Justice Department pursues charges against WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, President Trump says it's okay with him. Last week, the CIA director called WikiLeaks a hostile intelligence service and a threat to national security due to a series of sensitive leaks.
I have part of the responsibility to try to identify and prosecute any who violate our laws, and you can be sure we'll do that. It's going to be a top priority, and we'll fulfill our responsibility.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions says the DOJ steps up efforts to prosecute people who leak classified information to the media. The Attorney General is now in San Diego getting a first-hand look at border operations aimed at keeping illegal immigrants out. He's joined by Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly. As for Dreamers, those young immigrants who were brought here as children and are now in the U.S. illegally, President Trump tells the Associated Press they can rest easy. In New York, I'm Pam Puso on Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer.
Did you just big time an intern?
Yeah, let's talk about that here in a second.
That's what I thought.
If you need a AC expert, get it tuned up. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, overcast, a low of 43. Saturday, overcast, high 56, a low of 39. Sunday, sunny, clear, high 69, a low of 41. Right now, partly cloudy, 56 degrees in Champaign-Urbana.
Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5, Lante, Jeremy Werner. We are without Carp on another Friday, who all of a sudden thinks that he just doesn't need to work on Fridays.
Did you hear what he's doing tonight?
No.
He's opening.
Oh, it's tonight? He was supposed to remind me of this.
For Boyd Tinsley's band?
Yeah.
He's the violinist or fiddleist. I like fiddle better than violin.
Fiddle sounds cool.
For the Dave Matthews Band, which Carp's been to 60 shows now of the Dave Matthews Band.
Huge star of those. I mean, he's a huge fan of that band.
So it's at the Accord, I believe, tonight?
So that guy, I asked Carp.
He interviewed him today on B96.
Oh, he did? I asked
or
Mike.
Q96, huh?
Yeah, Q96. I asked Mike, I said, are you B96?
Chicago.
Was that
Sorry,
the old
Chicago kid?
I can remember that. I think some station when I was young used to simulcast that.
Yeah.
It was the old B.
Eddie and Jobo.
96 dance party. And it was like, yeah! Like every Friday night, you're like, woo! I would like tape
House
the
music,
songs on a cassette.
Oh, dude.
Yes!
I remember when I was like 10 years old.
Yes.
Everclear came out with a new song. It was called Father of Mine.
Yep.
And back in the day, you couldn't just go to YouTube.
No.
Because YouTube wasn't there.
Nope.
You couldn't just download a song.
Nope.
Right?
You had to call and request it.
Or you had to go to the store, buy the entire album, or maybe they have the single, which costs like $1 or $2.
Exactly.
Right? So that's what you had to do. Or you sat at home with your cassette player, radio ready. I sat for like 3 hours one day waiting for Father of Mine.
This is the struggle, kids, that we had to go through.
That's what we did back in the day.
It's so true. Another station in town, I won't mention it, used to do
like now you just go to YouTube or Spotify and just go, I want to hear that song.
Well, you can put the CD in your truck. I mean, I'm old school now. I have a CD in my truck instead of an iPod.
That's weird.
I know. And I'll just replay one song if I want to hear it again. I'm like, oh, cool. But there was a station in town that did a 5 at 9 or top 5 at 9 maybe.
Yeah.
And every night I would record on a cassette tape
Q101.
those 5.
Q101 had their 9 at 9.
Isn't
top
that
9
amazing?
rock songs at the time. We used to listen to that all the time.
It's just, oh boy.
It was a good time, though. That's when radio was great.
Kids today, they just
now
have
it's
it too easy.
They put us on the radio.
Yeah, right.
What are you doing?
Right. I doubt anybody's out there recording us.
I did just make a intern do a very intern thing.
But is it in here?
Not yet.
You think they
here it comes.
Oh,
here it comes.
Oh, here it comes.
Jack's coming in with it. All right. He brought me coffee.
Well done, Jack.
I made the coffee.
Yep.
But Jack brought it in. Is
well
that
done.
too big time of me, or should we do that more? Should we make our interns bring us coffee more?
I think that they don't do enough.
Because you've sent
Austin's not an intern.
You've sent him over to go get produce.
Absolutely.
For you.
Absolutely.
I think you should all have to do those things.
One day I was going to send Tyler to actually fill my truck up because I had to go watch, I don't know, Lucas was playing tennis somewhere and I had to leave like in a hurry.
And you're on E.
And I was on E and I was like, Tyler, I'm about ready to send you with a 50 and just go fill my truck up. And he's like, I'll do it. You know, Tyler.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I think I got enough to get to the thing. I'll fill it up after.
We should
I
have done
didn't.
it.
As the
if I'm
insurance agent for
discouraging
this
that
place,
in the future, don't worry about it.
No.
We should haze a little more in our life.
Absolutely, we should. I mean, these interns.
Those kind of things. Like,
Yes.
I used to have to go get lunch.
Yeah.
For people at things, like when I was at high school jobs and stuff like that.
I remember.
I actually kind of liked it because I was getting paid to go get lunch.
Right. It's like, all right, I'll do this. When I interned at Channel 3 here in town, and it was Chris Widlick and John Mayo was the other guy. And the first day I interned, Jerry Slave came to me and said, where do you go to school, son? I'm like, Southern. He's like, oh, you're a big drinker. And at the time, I was like, no, I really do. I mean, I didn't drink in high school. I barely drank my freshman year. I'm like, not really. And he goes, well, you're going with us to Katsina's. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, after the news tonight, you're going with us. And it was like a Thursday night. And here I am. And Chris Widlick even rolled his eyes. He's like, oh, boy, you shouldn't do this. So I go over to Katsina's, and I called my mom. And I'm like, you're going to have to come get me. And so I go over to Katsina's, and Slave, like, we just start pounding beer, and he's buying everything. Jerry Slave. You remember that name? He was like an icon around here. And about an hour into it, this is like midnight now, he looks at me and he's like, so what do you think of this, these tasks, these intern tasks I'm making you do right now? Coming over and drinking. I'm like, I think I'm going to like interning.
That's like the best thing ever.
I was like, I think I'm going to like this.
There you go.
But I'm worried about you having an intern bring you hot coffee, because if he would get burnt there, it's going to be a liability claim.
Well, that's his own stupid fault.
If he just falls and just...
Did he have to? I don't think he signed a waiver. So
no,
maybe I shouldn't say that.
Yeah,
you're the insurance guy.
From now on, we need waivers for our interns. So if they go get us apples and bananas at Meijer, that's terrible. All right, if you want to weigh in, 359-2255. We've got Brad Sturdy, Orange and Blue News, coming up in a moment.
Yeah, we'll talk all about the Illini basketball recruiting going on right now. I know people have a lot of questions. Charlie Moore, is he going to Kansas? There's a report that kind of leaked out, but it wasn't ready to be published yet.
Cue the I hate Bill Self text.
Mark Smith, what's the buzz there? Francesco Badocci gets an offer from Illinois. We'll talk to Sturdy about that. But did want to reiterate this news that Julian Pearl, the Danville offensive lineman, flipped his commitment from Northern Illinois to Illinois. I just reported that as the show was coming on. He visited Illinois yesterday, 6'7", 245, a lanky kid right now, but he is a very athletic kid. And I talked with B.J. Luke yesterday, the former Danville coach now, and he said this kid's going to add weight pretty easily once he gets into college program. So Illinois started to prioritize him, and they land another in-state kid, their second in-state commitment. Scout.com has him as a 3-star kid, 81st offensive tackle in the country, 3rd offensive tackle in the state.
That's sweet. Well, you know, sometimes kids go to like an Illinois State or a Northern, and obviously Northern's played at a higher level than Illinois has lately, but they go to these places and all of a sudden they're just the stud, and it's like, you know, that was kind of the diamond in the rough. I don't think this kid is that, obviously, but I'm sure Illinois looks at that body frame and thinks,
take some years,
but we could make him by his junior year into a really good offensive lineman.
When you find a kid that kind of frame who can move that well, I think there's obviously a lot of projection there.
Give me athleticism.
But he's a pretty good football player at Danville. So
does he project as a tackle?
Yes.
I guess he would, obviously.
6'7", yeah. You're planning on using that guy as a tackle. Played a lot of tight end at Danville. So he could start as a blocking tight end.
Yep.
But then he could, I mean, he's got the talent to play defensive end, but they really like him as an offensive tackle. And B.J. Luke said, I see him as an offensive tackle, too.
I know we got to take a break to get Brad on. I never thought of that. As a kid that projects to be a tackle, to start him maybe his freshman or sophomore year, maybe red shirts, but the first year he plays, start him at like that tackle or a tight end, a blocking tight end.
Yeah.
So you're kind of getting that technique. You're getting used to working on the outside. That's that. I've never thought of that.
Kind of like a 6th offensive tackle.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean, we've seen that before, but he's got enough athleticism and at least a little bit of experience in catching the ball as well.
6'7". All right, so Mark Smith, there's some buzz there. Charlie Moore, all these kids. What's Illinois do next? What's going to happen? Jeremy's talked about it. We're going to get Brad Sturdy's opinion on this. OrangeandBlueNews.com. He joins us next. It is the Tay and J Show.
Exciting indoor football action is back Saturday, April 22nd, as the Bloomington Edge indoor football team goes head-to-head with the Kansas City Phantoms. Plus, it's college night. Bring your student ID and get in for only $10. Fans 21 plus can also enjoy $3 beers. It's the Bloomington Edge indoor football team against the Phantoms, Saturday, April 22nd at 7 p.m. And this week, a portion of ticket sales will go to benefit the Alzheimer's Association. Buy tickets and get more information at bloomingtonedge.net or call 484-840-EDGE. That's 484-840-EDGE.
Your 401k is likely one of your most important assets, but it's only one part of a comprehensive retirement strategy. Edward Jones can help you understand how your retirement assets fit into your entire retirement picture so you can work towards meeting your unique retirement goals. Contact me, Mike Kessel, your Champaign Edward Jones financial advisor at 1701 Broadmoor Drive, Suite 110. Contact me today at 217-352-0117. 352-0117. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Join the U of I Community Credit Union for the grand finale of Money Smart Week. It's Shred-a-Palooza, a free event with shred trucks, food, and fun. Shred sensitive papers and documents, then enjoy music, local food trucks, and free inflatables. Complete family fun with a purpose. Join us Saturday, April 29th from 10 to 2. Get more details at uoficreditunion.org.
U of I Community Credit Union.
Thinking about becoming a homeowner this spring or summer, buying a new home, or upgrading because of your growing family? Save at your community credit union, the U of I Community Credit Union. Right now, open a mortgage with us and you'll receive a $250 closing credit with competitive rates, a quick and easy approval process, and fixed term options over 10 to 30 years. Trust the U of I Community Credit Union.
Closing cost credit offer applies towards approved and funded first mortgage loans only. Some exclusions and restrictions apply.
Hi, it's Belinda from Fancy Thrift and Resale Emporium in Villa Grove. And as an entrepreneur, one of my passions is helping other small businesses to succeed. That's why I'm inviting you to our Spring Fanciful Philo Fun Festival and Small Business event on Saturday, May 6th from 1 to 8 p.m. at the Frank Center in Philo. A fun family event where businesses, entertainers, and vendors will showcase what they offer, from chair massages to delectable treats and mini workouts and more. This is a great way to get more information about locally owned businesses, as over 20 small businesses and vendors will be on hand. So mark your calendar now for our Spring Fanciful Philo Fun Festival and Small Business event on Saturday, May 6th from 1 to 8 p.m. at the Frank Center in Philo. Get more details on Facebook. Just search Fancy Thrift and click on events. Again, go to Facebook and search Fancy Thrift.
As spring brings new color to the world, why not bring new color to your walls? Ask Sherwin-Williams during the 4-day super sale and save 40% off paints and stains April 21st to the 24th. With such great deals, you can give your whole home a color makeover. Your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams paint store is right around the corner. Find it at sherwinwilliams.com/save. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days. Mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy. Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What'll he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Warner. We're going to talk a little Bears, get you ready for the NFL Draft, which is about a week and a day, I guess, away. We're going to visit with Kevin Fishbane, Pro Football Weekly. We'll do that around 4:45. Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com, coming up in moments.
All right, let's hit a couple of these text questions about Illinois basketball. Is it a bad sign Smith didn't commit on his visit? Well, you'd prefer he did.
I would personally go out and just sell your house and freak out tremendously and just move to, like, Mississippi.
I agree with you.
Get out of here.
If Smith committed to Illinois, I wonder if that would cause Tillman to think twice about Illinois.
No. I don't. I mean, I would love to have Jeremiah Tillman play for Illinois next year, but I don't think I want to go through that again. I don't think I want to sit here for 15 hours a week talking about Jeremiah Tillman. I really don't. So, no, I'm going to say no to that.
All we have heard for days is Mark Smith, the Italy kid and the Pitt kid we are out on. Do you have any insight who the two assistants and coach are working on? Badachi's obviously one of the top guys they're working on. They're going to probably have Taylor Berninga from Illini Bluffs in on a visit here pretty soon. But yeah, it would be interesting to see if there's any other targets kind of out there. But the options are growing small when it comes to high school kids.
Jeremy, there are not many options.
I mean, from when it comes to high school kids. Now, transfers, more will open up.
Okay.
But there's not like a bunch of, like, Cam Johnson, Charlie Moore, and Carlton Bragg are 3 of the top 10 transfer options out there, if not top 5.
Okay, and you're in on those 3.
Well, Cam, you're out on.
Well, I'm sorry,
Carlton
Cam,
Bragg,
that's
you're
right.
in the top 5. Mm-hmm. Seems like Charlie Moore is likely to go to Kansas.
Would you? Is there like a web? I mean, is there like a website out there that lists the?
Yeah, usually
transfers?
ESPN. Jeff Goodman has a long list.
Okay,
they usually don't have like points per game, running
right?
Rebounds per game.
Well, I wondered that the other day. I said, you know, like in, let's say NFL free agency, you can look and see. So let's say I think the Arizona Cardinals need a middle linebacker. You can go to a list essentially of all the linebackers that are free agents and see, and you start thinking, oh, that guy'd be decent. I wouldn't want that guy. And I started thinking you could probably make some money if you just tabulated this list every year and sent that out to all the radio stations and TV, said, here, this is the list you're looking at, or even the coaches. But I'm sure that there is a spot you can go and find those kids.
A texter says, Charlie Moore seems to fit perfectly for Northwestern. Closer to Chicago, less loaded backcourt. Why am I not hearing more about that possibility? Charlie Moore said he wants to be closer to his ailing father, and I get it. Now that he's maybe going to Kansas.
Sure.
That's a long way away still.
It is.
It's a lot closer than Cal.
It is.
But it's still a long way away.
Yep.
When this came out, I thought it was Northwestern Illinois.
Okay.
And Northwestern makes a lot of sense.
They do.
Because Bryant McIntosh graduates after next year. Charlie Moore comes in. He's your guy for 3 years.
Boom.
Make a ton of sense. But
Well,
they didn't seem like a major player there.
Okay.
Illinois is. But I think Charlie Moore's got to consider, if they get Mark Smith.
Right.
Even if they don't, Trent Frazier and Tejon Lucas are there. Is I would assume going to be an Illinois guy.
Yeah.
Am I going to have, do I want to go there? Do I want to go to Kansas, which is Kansas,
well, all right,
where I'm probably going to have a big role once I'm eligible in 2018.
It will be interesting to see what happens with these kids, and of course, you got to take the shot on it. And you mentioned the fact that Illinois basically needs 4 guys. You didn't mention that, but you mentioned that this class is just getting smaller and smaller, and you wonder. I mean, obviously, Brad Underwood could bank a scholarship for next year, but I don't.
You could just add a couple 5th-year transfers, just to add 5th-year transfers too. But I'd hope they're the guys,
the right guys.
Yeah,
the right guys
aren't going to hurt you.
I want to switch to baseball real quick. There is a player out here that he's a top Cuban prospect that all of a sudden is available now.
Yeah, it's not all of a sudden. Like, he's been expected to kind of come available at some point. By the way, we are efforting Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. But outfielder Luis Robert, 19, was declared a free agent by Major League Baseball on Thursday. He'll be eligible to sign with a big league club on May 20th. Widely considered the second best international prospect behind Japanese dual phenom Shohei Ohtani. Have you seen the reports on this kid?
No.
60 Minutes did a great report on him.
I missed that.
He's a 5-tool player, great pitcher, great hitter.
Really?
Guys like the Babe Ruth over there.
Okay.
But Robert takes over the number 1 spot on the top 30 international prospects list, which has all of the top guys coming in. He had 393, 12 homers, 11 stolen bases in the Serie Nacional in Cuba. That's the top league on the island there.
Okay.
The right-handed hitter profiles as a center fielder with plus power and speed, was described by one American international scouting director as, quote, the best player on the planet. Where Robert lands is to be determined.
Better than Mike Trout.
I guess.
Okay.
This much is certain. The A's, Astros, Padres, Reds, Cardinals, and White Sox are among the teams with strong interest in signing him. The teenage outfielder has more private workouts scheduled in the next few weeks and could have another showcase for all teams in May.
Okay.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Because aren't you allocated so much money, right, you can spend on these guys?
You're getting right into that.
Okay.
That Robert, who has established residency in Haiti, was cleared to sign before June 15th, means several teams who exceeded the bonus pool for 2016-17 remain in play to sign him. That includes the A's, Astros, Braves, Cardinals, Nationals, Padres, and Reds. Those teams would have to sign Robert before the international signing period starts again on July 2nd, because once that date hits, they can no longer sign prospects for more than $300,000 per player.
Wow.
Robert is expected to command a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract.
Okay.
On the flip side, the Angels, Blue Jays, Cubs, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Rays, Red Sox, Royals, and Yankees are limited to signing a player for $300,000 or less during the current signing period, effectively putting those teams out of play.
Yeah, I was going to say that
for Robert. But the White Sox have a lot of money left to spend. But if they sign Robert, they would have penalties for the next couple years for the international signing period.
Isn't this funny?
But what is really interesting is most of these prospects they would sign are like 16 years old.
Okay.
This Robert kid's probably a year or two away from playing.
Oh, wow.
And that fits right with what the White Sox want.
Boom.
So do you take those penalties to get this top
Yes.
prospect? I think the White Sox are going to be all in on this
Yes,
kid.
you do in a heartbeat. Absolutely. And I think didn't Aledmus Diaz kind of follow this same path,
The
right?
White Sox have a couple like 19-year-olds who they signed about 3 years ago. So
yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. All right. Well, that is something to keep your eye on going forward. And I think the Cardinals, in fact, weren't they awarded, like, because of their mid-market, they're still considered a mid to small market team. Yep. They were awarded more money in this international. I know teams like the Cubs threw a fit about that. And now you know why, because now the Cardinals are able to go out, whereas the Cubs can't, and go out and maybe make a big play for this kid coming up. So that'll be something to watch as we go forward, no doubt. All right, it is time to hit the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line and welcome in our buddy from orangeandbluenews.com, Brad Sturdy. How are you, Brad?
Good. How are you guys?
We are great, my friend. Mark Smith, did he eat at Wendy's? Did he eat at McDonald's? I want to know everything, Brad. What's happening with Mark Smith?
Isn't it crazy? I mean, we got to know everything. We got to know what he's wearing to school today. You know, what he wore on his visit. Did he wear Illinois gear? Was it Michigan State? Was it Ohio State? It's like it's just insane. It really is. But you know, it sounds like he's with this taking a visit to Ohio State. I expect him to have a decision. You know, next week. I think that Illinois and Michigan State are the two favorites. And I think, Ohio State's going to have to really wow him on the visit for him to pick them, because I know a couple days before he was, wavering on whether to even take the visit to Ohio State. So I think that's, I think that he's got some great options. You never know about a Kentucky or Duke, but it sounds to me like Kentucky's not really in there anymore. And it doesn't sound like Duke, with Coach K not even making the in-home just on the phone. I don't think that's quite as, shows that they really want him. I know they're looking at some other kids in that class, some really, 5-star top-level kids, too, that they're still in on. So it's definitely fun to watch this recruiting cycle. And, the great part is that Illinois is right there in the mix. They've only been around for a month, and they're this staff, and they've already gotten the mix with some really good players, and so it's kind of fun to watch.
What is going for Illinois, Brad? Like, what would sway Mark Smith, and what's kind of going against him as he decides on his decision here soon?
I think it's going against him as the unknown. Although, Brad Underwood's been extremely successful, Mark Smith's only known him for a little bit. He's only got a 4-year track record. The guys he's going against are, Tom Izzo, who is considered one of the best coaches in the country, who's got a long track record, national championship, Final Fours. And Thad Matta, even though they've fallen on some hard times of late, still has a great track record. And then you look at obviously Calipari and Krzyzewski. I mean, those guys they've won for a long time. So I think that's what they have going against him. I think what they have going for him is that they're the home state school. They're an opportunity for his family to see him play. They're an opportunity for him to kind of be, the Mr. Basketball that stays home. And I think that's resonating with him. And the fact that I think Mark Smith really wants to go to Illinois. I think he has wanted to go to Illinois for a while. I think he just has to make sure it's the best, business decision, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Charlie Moore, there's a lot of Kansas buzz there. One report seemed to leak out when the Chicago Tribune didn't want it to. If that's true, Brad, I mean, what do you know on Charlie Moore? And if he goes to Kansas, what does that mean for Illinois?
Well, I think Illinois, there's only so many positions where they can play guards. And if they get a Mark Smith, and then they're looking at, Io, the Sumo, for 2018, if they're going after him, I don't know that they can take a Charlie Moore and have another undersized guard, because, to be honest, Dijon Lucas and Trent Frazier are not big. you throw in another, 6 foot and under guy in Charlie Moore. Then you throw in, Io and Mark Smith. I mean, there's a lot of perimeter guys to really play those spots. And I think it might be too much. I think Charlie Moore kind of looks at that and says, maybe it's not the best fit and so forth. And I think Illinois also says, if they're going to make a choice, they'd rather have, Io and Mark Smith than they would, Charlie Moore and one of them. So I think that's a tough call because Charlie's not going to help him next year. It's for 2 years down the road. Do you think that you can get a guy who is comparable in 2018? And I'm sure that with the recruiting staff and Brad Underwood, with Orlando Antigua and Jamal Walker and Chin Coleman, that they feel like they can get a guy who's at that level in 2018. And so there's, do you really want to choose a scholarship that's just going to sit there for a year? So I think that's the question they have to answer.
That's a great point, Brad, about that. Follow Brad Sturdy on Twitter. It's at Sturdy32. I asked Jeremy when we started the show, Brad, just about, do you think Brad Underwood right now is finding out real quick here with regards to the Mark Smith, the Charlie Moore, everything else, that it's not easy to recruit at Illinois?
No, I think it's hard, especially when you're not. I mean, and Underwood does have some contacts from his past time, but he hasn't been here. He hasn't got a track record. I feel like that, if he wins some games, it gets easier.
Yes.
But it is grind. I mean, it's tough because everybody recruits Illinois. I mean, it's a state that honestly is probably over-recruited. I mean, everybody wants to get in Chicago. Everybody wants to get players from St. Louis. Everybody wants to get players from, Peoria or wherever it is. I mean, if there's a guy, you're not going to have one or two schools come in there. You have everybody. I mean, just think about the national teams that have come into Illinois, whether it's, Cal, whether it's, you go down to Duke, obviously. You go to, North Carolina. You go all over the country. They're coming into Illinois and coming into Chicago and trying to get those guys. And I think that makes it hard. So you're always going against elite competition for these recruits.
Francesco Badocci, out of Bishop Miage in Kansas, gets an offer. What do you think of his fit? And then Taylor Berninga, Brad, you guys talked about him a little last week, but he might come in for a visit. I mean, are these kind of the last guys available on the high school trail right now?
There are some other guys. I think that there are some guys. I think most of the guys are going to be in the transfer market after this.
Yeah.
But there are a couple that maybe we'll kind of see what happens. But I think with the Italian kid, I think it's going to be. It sounds to me like he has some relationship with Boise State prior to getting the Virginia and Illinois offers, and so I think that's they're going to have to overcome that. But obviously, he likes the opportunity to play at a higher level, play in the Big Ten, play in the ACC, whatever it is. So I think Illinois done a good job there getting in on him. He's athletic. He's extremely athletic. He probably fits as more of a four-man in this offense where he can defend multiple positions. He's got, a good the ability to pass, do some things like that. So I think he's a good fit for what they're trying to do. Now, I don't know that he's going to be a kid who you plug and play next year. He's going to take some develop and get stronger, but he's definitely a kid who can do some good things, and down the road could be a really a good piece for Brad Underwood.
So the transfer market, Cam Johnson doesn't have Illinois in his top list. Carlton Bragg does. Any other guys or top guys that we should pay attention to? Because it seems like the big man market, which they need most, is pretty thin.
It is. It's very thin. There are a few guys that have declared for the draft, maybe that haven't hired an agent, that could still transfer if they don't make the NBA. I think you're going to see that kind of thing maybe come out here in the next few days. I think if they don't get Mark Smith, I think they do have a couple contingency plans that they've already looked at. So, I wouldn't be shocked to see if Mark Smith did pick Michigan State next week, that they have a couple guys that they're going to go after. I know that they have a few other guys on the transfer market that they have been in touch with. Maybe not with those players, but with their people, and that they're kind of going through back channels to make sure that they're the right fit or whatever. And so we'll just kind of have to see how that shakes out. I think all their focus right now is on, locking up their 2017 class, and then kind of seeing what plays out and how this goes and so forth. It's been pretty quiet on the transfer front as far as, really anywhere. There's a lot of guys just kind of floating out there that haven't, have said they're declaring or have said they're transferring. And there's some other guys who haven't announced their transfer intentions, but I think we have pretty good information that are going to transfer. So I think it'll be interesting to see over the next couple weeks. You'll see more and more. It'll be more and more fluid situation with more and more names popping up.
Just when you think you've seen it all, right? Now you've got an Illinois roster of 9 guys, and we're getting ready here to kind of attack the transfer spot. Also, some of these recruits. Brad Sturdy's our guest, orangeandbluenews.com. Brad, I'm looking at next year's team, and I'm looking down low, and I know that's why we're talking about Francesco and Cam Johnson, who obviously took Illinois out of his top list, of schools. But I'm looking at Finke and I'm looking at Black next year underneath, and I'm just getting scared here, especially defensively. I mean, you've got to round that out somehow with probably more defensively in my mind than anything.
Where's Sam McLaurin? We need Sam McLaurin back.
Oh, he was the best.
Nana? Can we have Nana back?
Oh, we brought that up yesterday. Carp said, you know who would fit well in this? Nana Egwin. I go, that's what I was saying the entire career. Right, Brad?
Yeah, we talked about, we sit together and talk about that, so I definitely remember that. But no, I do think that they would like to add some depth up front. There's no doubt. But I really think what you're going to see is Illinois, rather than, we talk about post defense, but I think one of Brad Underwood's philosophies is that one of the best ways to defend the post is to make it difficult on the perimeter guys to make the entry passes.
Yes.
And so, if you're doing a good job on the perimeter guys, really pressuring the ball, it makes it more difficult for them to make those entry passes. It doesn't make those easy entry. And so instead of like you would maybe in a pack line where you have a guy who can play that one-on-one post defense. But I think you're going to see that more pressure, more things. And I think you're going to see undersized guys maybe at the 4. A Kipper Nichols might be the 4th guard type situation. And then I think he's going to tweak his system, obviously, to fit the guys that he has next year. And you might see some Black and Finke play together. But I think ideally they would prefer to have four guys who can, handle the ball, shoot the ball on the perimeter, and then a guy in the middle who actually still has to have a high basketball IQ who can also can rebound and defend and do some things. So I think that's the ideal situation. I think Finke can be a pretty good fit at the 5 if they have the right players around him.
Fair enough.
But at the same time, if Finke or Black, I mean, right now Finke's in a boot still. He's going through a few things, but he's, Black's had some injury things. So if one of those guys gets hurt, boy, I don't know if we want Kipper Nichols playing center. So,
wow.
Or DJ Williams or whoever it is. I mean, I guess it'd be hard to guard Illinois, but at the same time, it'd definitely be a struggle up front.
Brad, you mentioned his name. This is the last question I have for you. We appreciate your time. You mentioned DJ Williams, Aaron Jordan. Those are 2 names we've talked about and, speculate, are they going to transfer? Sounds like they could stay here. And both, especially if Mark Smith doesn't come to Illinois, have a huge opportunity next year. Do you think DJ Williams will buy into his role? Because I think that's what he needs to do. I think the talent obviously is there. Do you think he can buy into a role under a new staff? And Aaron Jordan, do you think this system or that, some kind of confidence could happen with him with this new staff?
You hope so, because I really think Aaron Jordan's a great kid. He's been a great teammate. He's a hard worker. Yep. It just hasn't maybe clicked for him yet, and maybe it will under this staff, maybe under this system. He can, kind of find that, confidence and the freedom that he wants. And then, so I think that, and I think Aaron loves it at Illinois. I mean, I think he loves going to school. I mean, I think that's what he, is always his dream school, and here he is. But with DJ, I think the biggest thing with DJ is he's just got to he's got to play hard. He's got to play that 100% and give everything he's got and do that work. And I think if he does accept that role as, being that guy, then I think he can contribute. There's no question he has the athleticism and the size. He's 6'7", and they could use a guy like that who's, 6'7", who's athletic, can defend multiple positions, can rebound, and he actually has some decent skills. Sometimes he doesn't have the motor that he needs. And so I think if he gets that all taken care of, which is saying a lot, but, I think he can contribute. I think the one thing about Brad Underwood, from what I've heard and been told by people in the program, is that he's starting these guys with a clean slate. And so it's time for you to start off, and here's your opportunity this month of workouts here. Go show us what you got. And if you want to play next year, then, we're not worried about what happened last year. We're worried about what's going to happen in the future. And here's your opportunity. And there's, like we say, there's going to be 9 scholarship guys or whatever. So, until right now. So there's opportunity for playing time, and especially if you're 6'7" like DJ Williams, a lot of opportunity. So we'll just have to see if those guys want to take advantage of it or not.
It's not every day you get a Hall of Famer on, and we did it again. Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. Follow him on Twitter, @Sturdy32. Brad, we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Good stuff, buddy. Brad Sturdy, softball Hall of Fame.
That's right.
Guy. So,
and just a Hall of Fame person.
Yeah, well, yes, he is. He is a fantastic man. There is no doubt about that.
Another fantastic man is Kevin Fishbane, Pro Football Weekly. He's joining us next.
He's going to do it now. We're going to talk about NFL draft, Bears style. Yeah. We'll do it next. It is the Tay and J Show. Life is full of twists and turns. You can't see the unknown, but you can certainly prepare for it. Pekin Life Insurance Company offers a variety of term and whole life insurance policies that are designed to meet the needs of individuals and their families. Options include transitional life, universal life, preferred whole life, family term life, and many others. Visit PekinInsurance.com or ask your local Pekin Insurance agent about an affordable, beyond the expected life insurance policy that's right for you.
You want what's best for your family, and what's better than a home equity loan or line of credit with no closing costs? Apply for a home equity loan or line at First Financial Bank before June 3rd, and you'll pay no closing costs. Remodel the house, get a pool for the kids, buy a new car, take a vacation. Whatever your family needs, your home's equity can make it happen, and First Financial makes it affordable. What could be better than that? Offer subject to credit approval. Property insurance required. Valid on applications before June 3rd. Other restrictions may apply. See first-online.com/equity for details. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Flooring Surfaces is your premier source for new flooring in Central Illinois. You don't need to wander poorly lit aisles looking for help or load a new floor into a cart to check out. You need an inviting space filled with exciting new floors and a trained professional to guide you to the perfect choice for your home or project. Flooring Surfaces can find the hardwood, carpet, vinyl, or tile floor that is right for you. With a beautiful showroom and over 1 million square feet of flooring in stock. See us today at 401 East Mercury Drive in Champaign.
The world at your feet.
Spring is here, and there's no better place to spring into the season than Willow Pond Golf Course in Rantoul. Golf every day for $25 with a cart, and seniors can go Monday through Friday with a cart for just $20. Not a golfer? No worries. The 19th Hole Bar and Grill has great food and drinks, a great sports atmosphere, live video gaming, and the new Full Swing Golf Simulator. Call and schedule a tee time today at 893-9000. That's 893-9000.
There's nothing better than real Texas barbecue, and no better place to get it than Hickory River Smokehouse. Every cut of beef brisket, pork shoulder, turkey breast, pork loin, and chicken are carefully selected and rubbed with a signature spice blend, infused with hickory smoke for a juicy award-winning flavor, and served up right here in Central Illinois for over 20 years. So come on in for a taste as big as Texas. Dine in, take it home, or serve it up to the entire gang on North Cunningham in Urbana.
Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call Matex Heating and Cooling to take advantage of Train's Weather Any Season Sale. Choose between special financing for 6 years or special trade-in allowances on qualifying Train systems. Call 355-9700 or visit us online at mattexservice.com for more information. It's hard to stop a train. Any season, any weather. Matex Heating and Cooling, servicing East Central Illinois.
Subject to credit approval. Call for details. Don't miss the 48th annual Kappa Kappa Gamma Flower Sale, with net proceeds this year benefiting Cunningham Children's Home. The sale will take place May 4th through the 6th at the Indian Acres Swim Club, 1 Arrow Road in Champaign. The annual sale includes geraniums and many other types of annuals in a variety of colors, patio gardens, hanging baskets, herbs, potted plants, and foliage. Don't miss this sale May 4th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., May 5th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and May 6th from 9 a.m. to noon. It's the 48th annual Kappa Kappa Gamma Flower Sale, May 4th through the 6th at the Indian Acres Swim Club.
Spring is finally here, which means you're probably planning picnics at the park and road trips you've been waiting for all winter. It also means the Honda Dream Garage sales event is back. It's the best time of year to find the perfect kind of Honda for everything you have planned this spring. Whether that's the let's see where this road takes us kind of Honda.
Let's go!
Or the trip to take the kids apple picking kind of Honda.
Here we go.
Yes, I love apples. Apples rock.
Or, well, the perfect Honda for you. Because right now, well-qualified buyers can get 0.9% APR on awesome Hondas, like the 2017 Accord. That's a Kelley Blue Book Best Buy with available 7-inch display audio kind of Honda.
Visit your local Central Illinois Honda dealers today.
See dealer for financing details. For more information, visit KelleyBlueBooksKBB.com. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelley Blue Book Co., Inc.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air, they all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111. When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Werner. We, 200 level, that's coming up one more show, right? I think Carp and Breitweiser have one more show, and that's going to be on the 24th, so Monday.
Well, we have Mark Smith news, man.
Oh.
They should really hold off their show
Just
until
that happens. That's not a bad idea.
Right?
That's not a bad idea.
And then they got to do another one when, like, once the class is done.
Yes.
Once we have resolution to this thing.
It could be interesting. I think they should do that. Yeah. Let's mention that to Carp.
Yeah, they do one show a week, 1 hour a week.
How nice is that?
Yeah, right?
You and I sit here.
Condense all your thoughts over a week into one hour show.
I could handle that. I could absolutely handle that. You know me.
I don't think they get paid very
I get so
as
excited.
Much as you want to.
I know. Well, I get so excited when I look at the calendar and I see the Cardinals are on early or off. You know, I'm like, yes. All right, are we going to play the Fishbane song? Are we just slowly going through these songs to figure out what we need to update?
They're so dated.
They are.
But yeah, you can try.
Why not? It's time to
talk. I think
this
one still works.
A little Bears football, the draft coming up, and let's visit with Kevin Fishbane, Pro Football Week.
Bears fans will always have 85, but that was before I was alive. When will the Bears be better than you? Sick of the Packers, so what should we do? Time to Fishbane. Yeah. We can't complain when we talk to Fishbane.
Oh, yeah. Kevin Fishbane, Pro Football Weekly. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, guys. Happy Friday.
Same to you.
So what is it like covering a team with the number 3 pick a week before the draft, Kevin?
You know, I wish it was easier, Jeremy, to be honest. I was talking this morning with another reporter, and we were thinking, you know, with the number 3 pick, you'd think we'd be able to narrow it down a little bit more in terms of who they would pick. But I think the fact that we have no clue what they're going to do at quarterback, they have so many different needs, and that they are certainly going to be candidates to trade down, it kind of makes it a little more difficult. I think it's exciting because, you know, they have an opportunity to draft a player who could alter the franchise. And I guess the other flip side, which I think a lot of Bears fans are looking at this way, they have an opportunity to draft a player that will be a complete flop and turn the franchise, and, you know, continue to keep the franchise in the direction it's been going. But it's been an interesting few weeks. And we'll get to talk to Ryan Pace on Wednesday, which is his least favorite press conference of the year, and it is kind of useless. We'll do our best to try to glean anything from him. But really, I'm just looking forward to, 8 o'clock on Thursday night when I know who the new Bear is.
Yeah, I love reading into every little statement he makes, even though he's trying to avoid giving any answers. But hey, hashtag content.
Amen.
With that. Kevin, if he was being honest with you on Wednesday, what do you think he would say his ideal draft would be going into the weekend?
I think ideally he would love to trade down and get extra picks. They have just so many needs. They need a lot more. They need a bunch of talented players. So I think he's always been best player available kind of guy. He wants to be in a situation where they could always take the guys they want. He doesn't want to be stuck in a situation where he has to reach the position. And I think trading down makes that a little easier. So if he's able to get out of the weekend, right now they have 7 picks. I think if they're able to get out of the weekend with an extra, I don't know, whether it's an extra second rounder, an extra third rounder or something, or an extra pick for next year, and then 3 guys who can be instant contributors, then I think that he would consider that a successful draft.
All right, Kevin Fishbane, they're not able to trade down, and here comes number 3. Number 2 goes off the clock. Who are they going with?
I think if I'm going to combine the fact that Ryan Pace likes best player available, that Ryan Pace, I struggle to see him taking a real big chance with this pick. I think you have to get it right. And when you think about what a big need safety is, Jamal Adams makes way too much sense for me. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that's my favorite player, my favorite pick. I just think he makes way too much sense to the Bears. He is a very, very good player. He's at a position of need. There aren't a lot of weaknesses. He has great intangibles. Everyone raves about his leadership. And to be a safety and to be talked about in the top 5 is so rare that I don't think you can pass up an opportunity to take a guy like that, especially when you're a franchise that has screwed up this position for, pretty much since Mike Brown was here 15 years ago.
I'm on board with that. I could be on board with a lot of names at the top of this draft, Kevin, because there seems like a lot of guys at number 3, whether it's one of the safeties or Marshawn Lattimore, if he checks out injury-wise, or Solomon Thomas or any of these guys, I'd be fine with it. But I also know that quarterback is just a much more valuable position, even if the guy is simply a number 12 quarterback in the league. If he's a good quality starter,
agree.
Isn't that more valuable at number 3 than even like a Pro Bowl safety? Like, do you think that crosses into their mind and that they feel like, hey, we might not have a chance here again at the top of the draft. So if we think he's a quality starter, we need to take the guy at 3?
Jeremy, they have Mike Glennon. They're fine.
Great comeback.
That's right.
No, I'm totally with you there. And I haven't, in any of my mock drafts, I haven't mocked them a quarterback. And that's just because it's hard for me to see them taking one at 3. I think if they trade down, they could do it. I think trading back into the bottom of the first round would be a great way to do it. I think trading back into the second round is also a good way to get, whether it's a Nathan Peterman or I don't know if Davis Webb will still be there, or Josh Dobbs is kind of the hot name lately among the mid-round quarterbacks. But I've been saying this all week, guys. Ryan Pace is never going to have this good of an opportunity to draft a franchise quarterback. Because if the Bears have a top 5 pick next year, I would be surprised if this regime is still making that pick.
Interesting.
Because to be in that position, to get a Sam Darnold or whoever the top quarterbacks are next year, you'd have to go 4-12 this year. And I can't imagine, the Bears are going to go 4-12. And if they do, I don't know if Ryan Pace is going to be making that draft pick next year. So he has the number 3 pick. It's a very valuable pick. I know the quarterbacks don't necessarily grade out to be that good, but I totally can see the scenario, whether it's Deshaun Watson or Mitchell Trubisky. Those are kind of the 2 guys I hone in on if they take one at 3. If they trade down, I think that puts Mahomes into that category too. I could totally see them considering it. It is tough, though, to take somebody at 3 that is not going to play for you, ideally, this year. I mean, none of these quarterbacks you really want starting for you day one, especially when you're paying Mike Glennon what you're paying for him. So do you want to spend the number 3 pick on someone that's going to sit out his first year?
We got Ryan Pace, 2 drafts of him, and Leonard Floyd looked like a great pick last year. Cody Whitehair was a phenomenal pick, and Jordan Howard, great pick as well. Doubt. His first draft, obviously Kevin White. The injuries have absolutely derailed that one. You look who was taken right after him, the pass rusher out of Atlanta, and that's that one doesn't look too good. But Eddie Goldman's a pretty good player. Adrian Amos has been a good player.
Yeah.
They've signed some good guys, whether it's Cam Meredith or Bryce Callahan. So after quarterback and after that number 3 pick, what do you think he'll focus on?
Yeah, I think people need to remember that the 36th pick could be a really, really good player. So the guy that they take in the second round, if they stay at that spot, I think the nice thing about this safety class of it being so deep that they could get a really good safety there. Same with the cornerback. There's a lot of good cornerbacks in this draft. I think cornerback is a huge need. They have 8 guys on their team that play cornerback that have starting experience, but they don't have a single guy who you can really be confident can be a lockdown corner. So that's another position I think they should consider. Offensive tackle, I think, is a definite position in terms of the middle rounds because they don't have anybody really behind the starters. They don't have anybody they can develop or work with for the future. But I think if you're ranking the needs, quarterback, safety, cornerback, and if they can get a great five technique, I have no problem with Solomon Thomas or Jonathan Allen at number 3. I mean, that gives you one hell of a defensive line.
Yeah.
If you put one of those guys up there with Akeem Hicks and Eddie Goldman. But, we're going to learn a lot more, guys, about what they think about some of the players, especially Kevin White. And I keep thinking that they are still very confident in both Kevin White and Cameron Meredith. I don't know if they're going to draft a receiver very early. I've seen some people say they need a receiver, and I don't disagree with that. But I think they believe they don't necessarily need to spend an early pick on one.
I'd like to see Kevin White play. I'm not a Bears fan, and I've loved watching him in college, and I think it'd be nice to see him out on the field. All right, Kevin, last one. Where's Jay Cutler going to end up? I mean, this guy, he's just kind of out there right now. What's happening with him, and where's he going to end up?
On the beach with Kristen. I mean,
that's not a bad place to be.
I'd be fine with that. On both fronts.
Look, I think that if you're Jay Cutler, you wait for the perfect opportunity. I think Houston would provide the best chance for him to win, the best team for him to be around. My question with Houston is, can you guys picture Bill O'Brien and Jay Cutler getting along?
No.
That would be a really interesting duo. I think Jay Cutler has certainly made enough money to retire. He's been beaten up enough to retire. His wife makes enough money that they're going to be just fine if he wants to just stay home with the 3 kids. He's a competitive guy. He's extremely tough. We've seen that over the years. But I don't think that he was going to go to a spot that is not going to give him a good opportunity to win. And I think he's going to need to be perfect. And I don't know if Houston is perfect, even if they give him the best chance to win.
I'm just imagining Cutler at home with the 3 kids. Kevin, I do have one more for you. How did free agency, do you think, affect what they'll do in the draft?
It's interesting because you would think that the cornerback spot is the one that they signed the 2 starters to starters' money, that would be the position that they ignore, like they did with inside linebacker, which was their biggest draft need before free agency last year, and they take Trevathan and Freeman, and suddenly you don't need it. But as I said earlier, they don't have a number 1 guy, and Marcus Cooper is the only one they signed to a multi-year deal. So I still think you can put that position in there as one to look at. I wonder if the guys they got at wide receiver, as I mentioned earlier, makes them feel comfortable they don't need to draft one because they have 4 starter caliber wide receivers, which is more than they had last year. So that's possible that's the position that maybe won't be as high on their draft needs as it looked like it might have been before they brought in Marcus Wheaton and Kendall Wright. And I will just reiterate, too, signing Mike Glennon should do nothing to their draft needs at quarterback.
Good call. Good call on that. The NFL draft coming up, and we're always talking to the expert from Pro Football Weekly, Kevin Fishbane. Follow him on Twitter, @KFishbane. Have a great draft, Kevin. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
All right, buddy. Good stuff. The Chicago Bears, number 3 pick. Overall, I think it makes the most sense for that team to trade down.
I just don't think who people are trading up for.
That's a good call.
That's what you need.
That's a great call.
You need a guy there. So if
you have to hope
Solomon
one team
Thomas
is in love with,
you hope the 49ers surprise people,
right?
Because they'll probably be Myles Garrett first, and then or you hope the Cleveland Browns think too much and go Mitch Trubisky.
Exactly.
Or sorry, Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah.
Because then Solomon Thomas could fall. Maybe somebody wants Leonard Fournette that bad, but I doubt that. So I think it's got to be one of those defensive ends, whether it's Garrett or Solomon Thomas that falls. But if Garrett falls to you, you got to take him.
You do.
But yeah, you got to hope probably one of those guys falls, because otherwise I don't think there's a player unless somebody falls in love with Trubisky.
I was going to say, unless somebody loves that quarterback.
I don't know if they will, because I probably think they can get him a couple picks later.
I agree with you. It'll be interesting to see. The draft will start, Friday? I think they keep changing
Thursday.
it up. Thursday's all first round.
Yep.
Friday's like second and third.
Yep.
And then the rest of the weekend, they just, every once in a while you check. Okay. Or Saturday. Okay. You just keep checking and seeing who did Arizona pick with their 18th pick? I know there's only 7.
We got an open hour next hour if you want to weigh in 359-2255.
It is the Tay and J Show.
Join us, the Coopers, the 2017 March of Dimes Ambassador family, at the annual March for Babies on Saturday, April 29th, 2017 at 9 a.m. We will take part in the walk that helps moms have healthy pregnancies and healthy babies. They'll be the easiest steps you and your family will ever take. Join the community and start building your team today at marchforbabies.org.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Hey, home buyers, this is Stephanie Pratt, Coldwell Banker Honigdale, your realtor that rocks the real estate market. I've got the ultimate real estate app, the one you need, the one you have to have when you're buying a home in this area. Go to my website, StephaniePrattHomes.com, on your mobile device and download the Home Buyers app. This totally sets you up. It even allows me to communicate with you super easy on your listings. Go to StephaniePrattHomes.com and download that app today. And don't forget, pre-approval is your buying power. It's a one-stop shop when you choose Stephanie Pratt & Associates, Coldwell Banker Honigdale, your realtor that rocks the real estate market.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Fox News Radio, I'm Kathleen Maloney. The Trump administration is getting tough on so-called sanctuary cities. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has more live.
And Kathleen, 9 jurisdictions got a letter from Attorney General Jeff Sessions telling them to provide proof that they cooperate with federal immigration officials if they want to keep funding for a specific grant. The California Corrections Department received one of those letters, and afterward, the president of the state Senate, Kevin De Leon, issued a statement that said it's clear the Trump administration is basing law enforcement on principles of white supremacy. Chicago's mayor said their city values are not for sale. New Orleans officials said they are not a sanctuary city and that they do work with immigration officials. Clark County, Nevada issued a similar statement saying they also largely comply. The letters demanded written proof of compliance by the end of June, Kathleen.
Thanks, Jessica. The uproar over passenger David Dow being dragged off a United flight is apparently having a big impact on the airline's boss.
Now it looks as if CEO Oscar Munoz will not be getting his seat as chairman of the board of United Continental. What began as a boarding issue when United employees dragged Dow down the aisle and off the United Express flight is now under investigation at both United and the Aviation Department. The company is under pressure by some flyers on social media who are calling for Munoz to resign.
Fox's Carol Zimmer, and the airline is also tying executive pay to customer satisfaction. President Trump may be ready to make good on another campaign promise.
We'll be having a big announcement on Wednesday having to do with tax reform. The process has begun long ago, but it really formally begins on Wednesday.
The president says businesses and individuals will see massive tax cuts. The markets closed slightly lower, the Dow falling 30 points. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, this family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
Widespread power outage in San Francisco was caused by the failure of a circuit breaker that sparked a fire at a substation. About 90,000 customers lost power, including the downtown financial district, a commuter rail station, and the city's famous cable cars. Power is gradually being restored. American prosecutors are going after WikiLeaks.
The Trump administration is taking a new, more aggressive approach to WikiLeaks and its founder, Julian Assange, with a law enforcement source telling Fox News that criminal charges are part of the calculus. Asked about the leaks, Attorney General Jeff Sessions promised consequences.
It is a priority. We will seek to put some people in jail.
The American lawyer for Julian Assange said they have not been contacted by the Justice Department, adding WikiLeaks is like a news organization and cultivating sources is a protected activity. In Washington, Catherine Herridge, Fox News.
Freedom for an American with dual citizenship who's been behind bars overseas.
The Egyptian-American charity worker who was sent to prison for 3 years in Cairo is back home in the States and met with the president today. The White House has been working for weeks to secure the release of Aya Hijazi, her husband, and 4 other aid workers who'd been held unjustly since a government crackdown in Egypt back in 2014. Hijazi is a graduate of George Mason University and grew up in nearby Northern Virginia. Her lawyer says the president was instrumental in securing her release, for which he is eternally grateful. At the White House, Kevin Cork, Fox News.
The 15-year-old Tennessee girl believed to have been kidnapped by her former teacher is back home being evaluated and treated by mental health experts. A family attorney says there's no doubt she suffered severe emotional trauma. The sheriff in the Northern California town where she was found says the teen was stoic and showed no signs of elation when she was rescued. The teacher, Tad Cummings, is under arrest and faces a court appearance Monday. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
Did we just blow off an intern that was shooting and nobody rebounded for him?
Again, we're being tougher on these kids now.
Is that what we're doing?
It's all on Jack today. Making things
no
tougher.
doubt.
Jack getting his own rebounds.
Jack's in there just shooting. He's like, I rebound for everybody else. Nobody even rebounds for me.
Hey,
Sorry,
you got to start somewhere, Jack. Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast.
Like a different shirt.
Brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long. Get those ACs tuned up. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight overcast, a low 43. Saturday mostly sunny, high 56, a low 39. Sunday sunny clear, high 69, low 42. Right now, partly cloudy, 57 in Champaign, Urbana.
Oh, yes! It is the 5 o'clock hour on a Friday of the Tay and J Show. That, my friends, is my favorite hour of the Tay and J Show because it's the last
in 1 hour
of the week.
Before I am on vacation for a week.
Oh, that's right. Are you going to dial it in this hour? You're not like me.
I might.
Okay, that's fine.
I might just go, Juan, what are you talking about?
Well, I have no idea.
We have an open hour.
We do. We
to
want
talk about
suggestions.
whatever. So I'm just going to give it to Juan.
Okay.
I'm going to let Juan steer the ship because he's going to have to do it next week.
Did you say ship?
Yes.
Okay, I trusted you said ship
steer
there.
This ship.
Hey, by the way, and before we get to drive time, good luck to all the runners this weekend. The Illinois Marathon getting set to go. I think they're doing the 5K tonight.
Nice and cool for you.
Right. This will be a good running.
Yeah.
I know some people. In fact, when I ran that 5K the other day, it was a little bit cool, and I started wondering, I'm like, is that going to... You know how sometimes when you run and you're like... You feel it in your throat. It's like, oh, that hurts.
It burns.
So I thought to myself, because I like heat.
Yeah.
But man, that was perfect weather. Because I was sweating my butt off anyway by the end. So they'll do the 5K tonight. I think they do the half then and the full tomorrow. So good luck to all the runners out at the Illinois Marathon.
Carp's the big runner.
Yes.
I run a little bit.
Yep.
Lon runs a little bit.
Yeah, when I have to.
But outside, as long as it's not windy.
Yes.
I'm good.
You're good to go.
But that's hard to find.
It is.
Here in central Illinois.
I think I heard that they have 18,000 people running the 5K tonight. 18,000.
Amazing.
And if you're interested in going, and I don't know all the particulars, but I know there's a website, just Google Illinois Marathon. But I know that they finish at Memorial Stadium on the north end of Memorial Stadium, and they start kind of by First Street, kind of where the research park is down there. I think you can park around there at any of the State Farm Center parking lots and walk. So good luck to the runners. I know the 5K will be fun tonight. A lot of kids do that. And then, of course, the serious people tomorrow with the half and the full marathon. So we wish everybody a good luck to that.
It is Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory, corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com. Well, today, this will recap the first 2 hours of the Tay and J Show.
Well, Jeremy Warner, Illinois got a verbal commitment today. Yes, they did. But like you teased me in the 3 o'clock hour, I'm teasing our listeners now. It's not a basketball commitment.
It is a football commitment.
It's a football commit. Go forward.
Illinois has gotten a commitment. They flipped NIU commitment. And Danville offensive tackle Julian Pearl. Scout.com has him as a 3-star recruit, the number 3 offensive tackle in the state, number 81 offensive tackle in the country. Long kid, 6'7", 245 pounds. Broke it just as it was going on air here.
That's awesome. Congrats.
But it happened yesterday. He committed to Northern Illinois on February 6th. I switched it on a campus visit yesterday.
Stupid Illinois.
He is the second commitment in the class of 2017, both in-state kids, both Central Illinois kids.
Okay.
Of course, he joins Peoria, Illinois quarterback Karan Taylor with this class. So Illinois needs offensive linemen. This kid's probably going to need to redshirt. He needs to add a lot of weight, but he plays a lot of basketball. He's actually at an AAU tournament down in Texas right now. But he's a lean kid right now because he plays so much basketball. But his coach, BJ Luke, I talked with him yesterday that once he gets into a college program with all the food and supplements they get him and, just the weight room, once he has time to dedicate into that, he thinks he's going to pack on the pounds because his brother was 6'8", 350, I believe.
Wow.
His dad's about 7 foot, big man. Whoa. So this kid with length, a kid with athleticism, and a kid that can add some weight, that's a kid worth investing a scholarship in, especially when it's in your backyard. And after missing on Hunter Woodard out of Tuscola, it's nice to add this kid from Danville.
Now, am I the only one thinking, all right, Brad Underwood could maybe use this kid? Like next year they could use him. Maybe.
Absolutely.
Hey, maybe he takes plays basketball 1 year and then plays football starting his sophomore year.
Do a Julius Peppers kind of thing?
Let's do that. I'd be fine with that.
I don't know, it might impede with his weight gaining.
Well, that's true, yeah. I think he'd have to make a decision right then.
Defensive end, you could probably do that.
Well, and then I asked you, there are still, I know Illinois has not done great. Lovey and the staff has not done great this year yet, basically, with in-state recruiting. Northwestern's has been splendid with it, has done well. But there's still some guys out there like TJ Ivey, and then you mentioned another kid from Chicago Marist. There's still a couple of kids that Lovey Smith and this staff are looking at here in the state of Illinois, correct?
Yeah, I mean, TJ Ivey out of Chicago Marist, they just offered Gavin McCabe, a defensive end out of Chicago Marist. I think they had to kind of recalibrate what they're looking for, what they can get right now.
Got it.
After going 3-9, you're not probably going to get the 5-star kids.
Sure.
I know Lovey wants those kids, and he wants to compete for those kids. It's just not realistic. Now, maybe Vertus Brown, maybe he's got a pull to you. Maybe you can get it, but you got to read those recruitments right. Those top kids out of St. Louis, I don't know if you're getting them when they have offers from Alabama.
Wow.
Right?
If I heard that, I'd be like, nope, I'm moving to the next guy.
I don't think you're going to compete with the Florida States of the world, right? It's just a reality.
Even if you're winning at a high level, it's hard to compete with them.
But you have to win at a high level at some point, or there just needs to be such a connection there, and you have to read that. Is it worth investing all my time? And should we pass up kids who want to be here, who are in-state kids? I think they're starting to realize that maybe we should have offered Hunter Woodard a little earlier.
Sure.
Maybe we need to get on this kid earlier. That's maybe not our top priority, but he's a Big Ten player.
Absolutely.
And we need a foundation of Big Ten players from this state. I think that's what they're looking at a little bit more now, that maybe they had a false start in this class.
And you wonder, with having a smaller class, if that didn't change a little bit of their strategy.
Yeah.
If they would have had 25, maybe they offer Hunter Woodard early.
Right.
And some of these kids would say, look, worst case scenario, they're our 23rd, 4th, 5th.
Yeah, they were really picky coming into this because they thought they only had so many spots. Well, when all these other kids start flying off the board to other schools, you'd kind of act pretty quickly and react to it.
All right, Jeremy, somebody just got in their car and they're listening, talk to us about Illinois football, and they're thinking, you know what, I must have already missed big news about Illinois basketball. We haven't talked Illinois basketball. Now we will.
It's a big couple weeks ahead, of course.
Nothing? You're telling me nothing?
Nothing new on Mark Smith, except that he will be visiting Ohio State with his father on an official visit this weekend.
Whatever.
As we talked about with Brad Sturdy, I don't see them as a big factor here. It's Michigan State or Illinois.
And if Ohio State all of a sudden becomes a big factor, then I'm gonna go over there and research.
Now, Thad has put in more work and had a longer relationship with him than anybody.
That's the funny part.
I mean, Thad's seen him play more than any head coach that is involved here. Tom Izzo's never seen him play.
Isn't that funny?
Brad Underwood's never seen him play in person.
Nope. And Thad Matta has.
Calipari definitely hasn't.
No. So here we laugh at, and we kind of, well, we don't laugh, but we think to yourself, why all of a sudden Ohio State? But there is a little bit of a history there.
Yeah, they've been in there, but this is going to be a Michigan State or Illinois battle here. And as we talked to Brad, I think Mark's got a draw here emotionally.
Yes.
But are his parents on board? Is that going to affect him? Or does he just look at this as a business decision?
Right.
More than an emotional decision. And if it's a business decision, as we've said, logically, Michigan State checks off a lot of boxes of a kid that's looking to compete at the highest level, be an NBA draft pick. Michigan State's shown they do that.
And real quick, I'm going to go down the list real quick. Cameron Johnson, we're not in it anymore,
No,
right?
The Pitt transfer who has 2 years of eligibility left but would have been a graduate transfer. He is not. He did not list Illinois in his top 5.
Charlie Moore.
Well, Chicago Tribune, I think, accidentally put out a story that he is committed to Kansas and on their Apple News. But they didn't put it on their website or in their newspaper quite yet.
Okay.
The buzz is Kansas is strong there. That makes Mark Smith more important. But as we were talking about with Brad, in 2018, you're hoping to add Ayo Dosunmu.
Yes.
And if you could pick one of the Morgan Park point guards, you'd rather have Dosunmu, who's got 4 years of eligibility, is more of what you need. 6'3", gets to the rim. That's his strength as the point guard. But when you go into these, would you rather have this kid or this kid? Pick one. That becomes difficult because bird in the hand, right?
Sure, I'll take him.
Is better than 2 in the bush. But, Charlie would come into a crowded backcourt most likely. But if you don't land Charlie or Mark, that becomes pretty interesting. You're putting a lot of pressure on the guards you have now, and you have less depth than you have next year, so it could be a rough start to that class if you don't land either of them.
Last guy, he's no Liparelli, but he is Francesco Baducci, or Badocci. Badocci. What do you got about him? Anything?
6'7",
He's
long,
got an offer now.
Athletic. He's got an Illinois offer, has a Virginia offer. Boise State has a strong relationship there. He just fits a need that Illinois needs, which is athleticism, rim protector, dunks around the hoop.
You could play as a freshman
offensive
in the
rebound.
Big Ten.
And he's really raw.
Okay.
I mean, he's really raw otherwise, but he does have a skill set that a lot of the players on the Illinois roster
Illinois probably need him to play.
Do not need. And that there's not a lot of post players out there. Badoci's not a post player.
No.
But he played the 4 in this scheme. Mikhail McIntosh is another intriguing one to me. But it sounds like Wisconsin will be involved there. Who else? Minnesota will be involved there. But he's a defender, pretty decent shooter from the outside, but he definitely make an impact on the glass.
Minnesota just living on that Bloomington Normal campus, it sounds like.
Yeah, sure Dan Muller's happy about that.
No doubt. Hey, scores! Well, the Blackhawks didn't do much of it. They scored 3 goals in the series, and they are swept by the Nashville Predators. It's the first number 1 seed to be swept in the first round. That is amazing.
In the NBA or NHL?
In either league. That is amazing that Chicago would only score 3 goals in this series, Jeremy. I mean, we talked to Harry, and I give all the credit to Nashville, but some of this has to lay back on Tays and Kane and these guys. How do you only score 3 goals in 4 games? That's almost impossible.
They were outcoached.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, they were outplayed, obviously.
Yes.
They're also outcoached.
Yes.
I mean, Nashville had a plan, and it worked, man.
Nashville
and Pecorine is
he's been really good. Nashville's been this hockey team that has been good and good and good and good, and they never made that next jump. Maybe this is their year. Maybe.
And we talked about what's it mean for the future of the Blackhawks. I don't know if much.
I doubt it.
I mean, it's hard to win consistently and win a bunch of championships in the NHL, and that's why you got to give credit to Stan Bowman and the Blackhawks for being able to do this. The 3 championships is unbelievable in this salary cap era. I mean, they were the first number 1 seed. I expect them to be a contender again next year. This was a bad playoff run.
It was.
But the NHL salary cap is meant to make this happen every once in a while.
It's embarrassing. And, of course, the Blues, they can close out the Wild. They have to do it in Minnesota. That game at 2 o'clock tomorrow.
That's Drive Time presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash and Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com.
We'll take your calls, your texts. You can do that. You can call on the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line or text the Chief Bauer text line. It's the same number, 217-359-2255. I'll give it again, 217-359-2255. Hey, if you're within 10 years of retirement, thinking and planning for your golden years can seem daunting, even overwhelming. If you're wondering where to begin, Busey Investment Services and Busey Wealth Management is there to help you focus, and they've got some tips for you. Reassess your living expenses. When you budget for retirement, think about how living expenses could and should change. Manage your taxes. Would it be better to tap taxable and tax-divert accounts first? How about paying off debt? I would advise that to 20-year-olds. You'll have more flexibility in retirement if an emergency arises or plans change. Does debt ever go away? I mean, just debt in general, does that ever go away?
Got to pay for it.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Just leave. Can you just look at it and go leave? My life would be so much more fun, wouldn't it? Hey, the financial advisors at Busey can help out. Busey Investment Services and Busey Wealth Management will take the time to understand you and create a sound investment plan for your goals. Call them now, 1-800-67-BUSEY, or you can visit Busey.com today.
Radio Sports Beat. From Charlotte, here's Dari Noka.
So far, it's all going pretty much according to plan for Kevin Durant. He wanted an easy path to a title. He took it when he jumped from OKC to Golden State. Now, this isn't going to be the bitter Thunder fan mad that he left 9.5 months ago. I'm over it. Most days. It's about the fact, as Golden State showed us in Game 2 of their series against Portland, that KD is not an essential piece to this championship puzzle. They sat Durant in Game 2 of a playoff series and won by 29 points. Golden State had 5 guys in double figures, and nobody scored more than Steph Curry's 19. They are deep. They are good. They've won without KD before, and they could win this season without KD again, especially considering whoever they face in the East will be a significant step down from the Cavs teams of the past 2 seasons, even if it is the Cavs again this season. Good move, KD. Remember, as he told us all, it was about the challenge. He needed a new one. Maybe someday he will find it. In 60 seconds, they get rings for that?
KFC's Colonel Sanders here. So listen up and stop listening to all these so-called experts who say you've got to work hard to be successful, because the real key to success is gold, as in the all-new 100% pure KFC Georgia Gold chicken with delicious, tangy honey mustard barbecue sauce, available on extra crispy chicken, extra crispy tenders, or on a chicken little sandwich. Remember, it's the gold on the inside that counts. Try some today at KFC. It's finger-licking gold.
At participating KFCs for a limited time only. Prices may vary. Tax extra.
AutoZone is proud to introduce new Duralast GT brake pads. They're race ready, just like ones used by Team Penske. So you might be wondering, what is race ready? Well, if you guessed, incredible stopping power and pro-grade performance with carbon fiber technology and V-slot design that reduces wear and increases stopping so that when you drive fast, you can stop even faster. You wouldn't be wrong, technically. New Duralast GT brake pads, proven tough from the tracks to the streets, and only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Oh, I love this story. Oklahoma State's football team didn't put 10-3 on their Alamo Bowl rings this season. They put 11-2. Sure, officials badly messed up the Cowboys' loss to Central Michigan, giving the Chippewas a down they shouldn't have gotten, and that down turned into a Hail Mary game-winning touchdown. So Mike Gundy and crew decided that loss should be a win. So instead of the ring saying 10-3, they say 11-2. Now, I'm actually okay with that. But I'm not okay with him getting rings, period. We really are in the everybody gets a trophy generation, aren't we? Rings for winning a second-tier bowl game? Really? Remember when championship rings meant something? I want that ring. One for the thumb. Whatever. Those lines were meant for real titles, right? Alamo Bowl ring? Look, I guess, Cowboys, put whatever you want on it. It really doesn't mean anything anyway. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, wait, do I get a ring for this? I'm Dari Noka.
Get ready for the first annual Muhammad Craft Beer Festival presented by J.T. Walker's Brewery. Head out to Muhammad on Saturday, April 29th for great food and the best beer brewed in Central Illinois. Admission is free, so come out and enjoy live music at J.T. Walker's and the new Project 47 Smokehouse. Enjoy craft brews from local favorites like Revolution, Half Acre, J.T. Walker's, and more. For more info, head to jtwalkersbrewery.com or text the word brews to 66937. That's brews to the number 66937.
Spring is finally here, which means you're probably planning picnics at the park and road trips you've been waiting for all winter. It also means the Honda Dream Garage sales event is back. It's the best time of year to find the perfect kind of Honda for everything you have planned this spring. Whether that's the let's see where this road takes us kind of Honda. Let's go! Or the trip to take the kids apple picking kind of Honda. Here we go!
Yes! I
love apples. Apples rock.
Or, well, the perfect Honda for you. Because right now, well-qualified buyers can get 0.9% APR on awesome Hondas, like the 2017 Accord. That's a Kelley Blue Book Best Buy with available 7-inch display audio kind of Honda.
Visit your local Central Illinois Honda dealers today.
See dealer for financing details. For more information, visit KelleyBlueBooksKBB.com. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelley Blue Book Co., Inc.
Our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month is Brian Malik from the Champaign County Sheriff's Department.
You always have to be keyed up. Do you have to go into a situation knowing anything can happen here and I got to be really on it?
It's always got to be in the back of your mind, but you also have to learn to go into a situation and be even-keeled and not expect the worst to happen. But it's always in the back of your mind that something could happen. But if you go in there at 100, obviously some people don't really appreciate that, and that's understandable.
Well, you can just tell by your demeanor, you really want to help folks kind of figure this out. And as one of your other deputies told me, it's they're not having their best day.
Yeah, most people, when they call for the sheriff's office, most of the time they're having a very bad day. And you show up and you try to do your best to make their day a little better. Doesn't always work, but you're doing your best to make it happen.
Brought to you by SK Exteriors. Their website, callsktoday.com.
Protecting your home and family, you better have a plan. Keep them safe from harm with a home alarm from F.E. Moran. Home invasions are on the rise all across the land, but they'll think twice when they see the sign for F.E. Moran. Don't wait till it's too late. It's time to make a stand. Call 877-FE Moran. F.E. Moran. Alarm.
Money Smart Week is back April 22nd through the 29th. It's an entire week of classes, workshops, training programs, and seminars to address money management at every stage of life. Some events include Investing 101 with Habitat for Humanity, 5 Seconds to Saving for Your Children's College Education, and Shred-a-Palooza, an event that gives you the ability to shred sensitive paperwork that will wrap up the week of Saturday, April 29th at the U of I Credit Union. Visit MoneySmartWeek.org for a list of events surrounding Money Smart Week, or search Money Smart Week Champaign County on Facebook.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
So Austin Berkland sent me this.
Yes.
To do, says he had to leave early to do a wedding rehearsal.
Is that what he was doing? He's all spiffy?
He's got, I'm Austin Berkland with your blank 30 Sports Center update. I kind of wanted to come out with a Ron Burgundy.
You should have.
Sorry.
You want to start it over?
Yeah, let's do it again. Let's do it.
Okay, all right. Hold on. Sports update, take 2.
I'm Austin Berkland with your 5:30 Sports Center update, brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote, and you can get up to 25% off for 2017 lawn care through April. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Illini Inquirer reports Illinois has flipped Northern Illinois football commitment Julian Pearl, an offensive tackle out of nearby Danville High School, committed to Illinois during a visit yesterday. He's 6'7", 245 pounds, plays basketball as well. 4-star Mr. Basketball point guard Mark Smith had his unofficial visit to Illinois yesterday, and Derek Piper reported Mark Smith had a, quote, great time on campus, end quote. Mark will still visit Ohio State University this weekend for an official visit. Adam Zagoria of Zagsblog.com reports that he still may visit Kentucky and Duke.
I always think that dude just covers Gonzaga.
Yeah. Pitt transfer Cam Johnson gave his top 6 to ESPN's Jeff Goodman today. Illinois was not a part of it. He's one of the most sought-after transfers. His list includes Kentucky, Oregon, Ohio State, UCLA, Arizona, and TCU. Blues will travel to Minnesota in hopes of finally ending their series in 5 games on Saturday. Notes lost game 4 2-1 at the Scott Trade Center. Puck drops tomorrow, 2 p.m. On the woes of Chicago, the Blackhawks have been swept by the Nashville Predators. They lost 4-1 last night. The Hawks are the first NBA or NHL team in history to be swept by the number 1 seed in the playoffs by an 8 seed. Bad news for the Bulls, too. Even though they're up 2-0 on the Celtics entering Game 3 tonight, Rajon Rondo out indefinitely with a small thumb fracture. Jaron Grant gets the start tonight. Illini baseball and softball in action this weekend. Baseball travels to West Lafayette, and the number 25 ranked softball team just started a series with the Nebraska Cornhuskers in Lincoln.
Hey, Garth Brooks, he is coming to Champaign-Urbana. And if there was one person out there that didn't realize that, I'm sorry. I don't know what you've been doing. But it's next weekend, Garth Brooks, and guess what? We've got tickets, ESPN Radio, and Tay and J have tickets you can win. We're going to do it on Wednesday afternoon between 3 and 6 on the Tay and J Show. Listen, and you may be going for free, thanks to us, here at the Tay and J Show on ESPN 93.5. Again, that'll be Wednesday from 3 to 6, right here.
If you want to weigh in, 359-2255, 217-359-2255. You can join us. We got an open hour the rest of the hour. I kind of had thought of this.
Okay.
LeBron James.
I actually had a thought.
Okay, go ahead.
But no, I want your...
LeBron James went off last night.
Yes.
And as I said in the first hour, reminds everybody every once in a while that I'm still the best player in the world.
Yeah, there's
like
no
Russ
doubt.
Westbrook, James Harden, Steph Curry, you're all phenomenal. Kevin Durant, you're all phenomenal.
You're all good players.
You're all great, but this is my world. This is my world, right? So last year, that title just solidified his legacy.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
If he doesn't win another one, I know maybe people say, "Oh, he's not as good as Magic or Bird or whatever." Or everyone says Jordan, but even that one just proved his greatness. And I think the one before proved his greatness even more so. The fact that he almost beat the Warriors by himself.
And that's legit, by himself.
So this question.
Dellavedova was the only other good player on that team, I think, right? Yeah. That little guard, that little white guard.
Was Mozgov on that team?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, that's how bad that team was.
So is he still have more pressure than anybody to win an NBA title this year?
I think last year's title, we talk about fan pressure, right?
Yeah.
Carp always brings up the pressure on the fan. Illinois fans, it's a big game tonight. The pressure's here. We've got to feel it. And we feel it as fans. You know these players feel it. I think the title, to answer your question in all honesty on my end, I think the title last year had to have taken that off of him. I know.
For me, I don't think he should have the most pressure.
I don't either.
I think he's proven himself.
That's what I mean. Now, he's still competitive. Obviously, he's still a competitor. He still wants to get titles.
And if he beats this Warriors team,
oh man,
come on! I mean, he is. I don't know if he's better than Jordan.
That might vault him.
He is on the NBA Mount Rushmore, and I don't think there's a doubt.
Nope.
He's already up there for me,
no doubt.
But he has to be if he beats the Warriors this year or next year.
I agree, but I can remember the angst that you had, just the anger almost you had last year in almost defending LeBron James.
The last 2 years.
The last 2 years.
Because I think last year, 2 years ago especially, the fact that he didn't win that title, people were like, he's 2-5 in the NBA Finals. It's like, did you watch that NBA Finals?
Exactly.
That was the most historic single-person performance we've ever seen. He's had nothing around him against one of the best teams we've seen, or best years we've seen from a team in the Warriors until the next year.
Right.
And he goes down 3-1, and then he beats them?
That's unreal.
Like, for me, I just can't stand that people don't want to put him up there.
Correct.
With the greatest of all time. It's obvious. It's just quantifiably.
Yes.
He is one of the greatest players of all time.
And I think that's why last year's championship did that. Everything was against you, like you said, down 3-1. Now, listen, you had better players. You had Kyrie, who hit the big shot right at the end. And then, of course, you had Kevin Love and a lot of these role guys for
just the
Cleveland.
fact that he's gotten to 7 NBA Finals.
7 NBA Finals.
He's been to the NBA Finals more often than he's not.
Oh, gee-miny. And the other thing that just absolutely blows my mind, and nobody thinks of this, but he's starting to get a little older now, right? Mm-hmm. And he's a big guy. He's carrying a lot of weight around on those legs. Think about how many extra games he plays every year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 4
series every year. We talked about that with Adam
year.
Wainwright every year.
Yes.
Like, think about all the innings he's accrued in the playoffs.
That's a great point. So an Adam Wainwright now is probably pitching-wise, arm-wise, 2 years older than what he is.
It's one thing going for Chris Sale.
That's true.
No postseason
He is
innings.
fresh as can be. But LeBron James, I mean, typically plays an extra, 30 games?
Yeah.
And you add that up over 7 years or so? Well, 28 would be the max.
20 games, at least.
So 20 games. So you add that up over a stretch of 7 or 8 years, and you're looking at an extra 100 and some games that maybe other guys haven't done.
It's amazing.
And not only that, Jeremy, but those are high high-pressure, high-level games. So when they take a night off for LeBron, I don't worry about it.
So I was going to ask, who has the most pressure on him?
I think it's Golden State now.
Well, is it? I'm saying player.
Oh, Kevin Durant.
It's amazing we don't say Steph. Like because
didn't he win it though?
He won one.
Oh, I see. So okay,
I'm just saying, like people were saying he was the best player in the world for a while, right?
I see where you're going here.
And then last year he didn't get a ton of criticism when they lost.
No, he did not.
He got a little bit.
He did not.
But I always found it amazing when he loses or Durant loses, they don't get near the criticism of LeBron.
LeBron does get it.
I mean, he calls himself the king. I get that.
Oh yeah, there's certain things.
He's backed it up. But it's amazing that Durant now seems like he has more of that pressure than Steph has because he left.
And for me, it's because Durant hasn't won one. And he chased a ring. And I don't mean that bad. I honestly have nothing against Kevin Durant for what he did. In fact,
kind of starting to see it with Russ in the playoffs.
That's
right?
a no-brainer to me. Yeah, right. I mean, that's a no-brainer. If you're Kevin Durant, you're going to make a lot of money and you got a chance to win a ring or multiple rings. But to me, because Curry won one, now I think the pressure, and I'm sure Curry still feels it, especially that whole Golden State team after losing last year to Cleveland up 3-1.
Did you put Draymond ahead of Steph because of Draymond getting suspended last year in Game 5?
I forgot about that for the kicker.
And
right?
that was huge in that series.
It was. That totally changed that series around.
I mean, Clay's definitely, there's no pressure on him. I mean,
I think Kevin still has it because he doesn't have one.
Would you say Draymond more than Steph, though?
Oh, more than Steph, yes. Yeah, because I think he changed that series around last year. There's no doubt about it.
I think Steph, just because he's so unexpected superstar,
yes,
I think he's already been like, he won one. Like, he just doesn't have the same pressure that a Durant or LeBron has.
Is Houston the only other team that I would have fun? I mean, I know I'd have fun watching San Antonio. In other words, what other team out of the West, if it wasn't Golden State, could challenge Cleveland?
I'd love to see Warriors Rockets. I think that would be a phenomenal series. I think it'd be great.
You think the Rockets could beat Cleveland?
I think they.
Is there another team besides Golden State?
I would not bet on them.
Okay,
to beat them. Can they beat them? Maybe.
It'd be interesting.
I mean, every once in a while, the Houston Rockets back in the '80s would beat the Lakers.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
Every once in a while, the 76ers would get into that finals over the Celtics.
They would.
Right.
They would.
I'm wondering.
It's good analogy.
Can that be this year? Or are these two teams so much better than the rest?
That's true. No, those are good analogies.
I think Cleveland is in the East. Washington Wizards could be interesting.
Who? That's John Wall, right?
John Wall, Brad Beal.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
So let's go to NFL.
Okay.
Who's got the most pressure in the NFL to win a title? I mean, we usually go to quarterbacks, right?
Yes, we do.
I mean, Russ has his. Russ Wilson.
I'm trying to think here in my mind.
Breeze has him.
How about this? Yes. How about this? How about just the Dallas Cowboys?
Okay.
How about just a team, the Dallas Cowboys, who, me growing up, everybody had the star, right? That was the team, Roger Staubach. Then you won all those titles with Troy Aikman. And guess what? Dallas finally played last year, right, in the playoffs? Yeah. That was the first time, and they haven't won did they win last year?
They won a couple years ago. They won a game.
Okay. Because
they should have won another one.
It had been like 12 years, right, since they had won a playoff game. I'm going to go number one on a team. I'm going to go the Dallas Cowboys because their faithful are sitting there saying, we used to win titles.
Still a young team, though.
It is. But just the franchise in general with Jerry Jones.
I'm trying to think of it. If I went quarterback, I think Matt Ryan would maybe top that list. I don't think Luck's there yet.
I was going to throw in Andrew Luck.
Yeah, he's just got nothing around him.
He doesn't. That's the problem. He has absolutely nothing.
I mean, Phillip Rivers.
Matt Ryan got to the game last year, but now can you go the next? Did everything work perfectly for Atlanta?
I think he's the guy that needs it. I mean, Cam, not quite there, but
agree.
That was a bad Super Bowl and a bad follow-up year. I know he's been hurt a little bit. Does Aaron Rodgers need another one?
Yes, that's a good call. Yeah, I think he does.
I mean, you can't ask much more out of this guy. No, I mean that's another one who he makes his team so much better than that team actually is.
And it is true because Aaron's one of those guys that everybody, without a doubt, is going to say is probably the best quarterback in the league right now. Right? I mean
him and Brady.
Does anybody argue that? Well, right, exactly. I'm sorry, I forgot about. How can I forget about Tom?
Just going talent, I'd go.
Just talent alone, just the elusiveness and everything about him. His arm it's just ridiculous. Yeah, I think there is some pressure on Aaron Rodgers to win another.
All right,
That's
NHL.
a great call.
NHL. It's pretty easy, isn't it?
Well, the Blues would be.
It's Ovechkin, right?
Yes. Well, yes, the Caps. I mean, it's not only the Caps, but it's Ovechkin. Yes, to get one.
I mean, how many What is his playoff series record? How many playoff series have they won?
Probably not many. Not many. I mean, the Caps are always eliminated early. And it's always by Yevgeny and Crosby, right? It's always those Penguins that get in their way. That will be interesting. No, that's a good call, though, that he'd have a lot of pressure. I'm trying to think of another guy in the West that would have that kind of pressure. I'm trying to think.
NHL.
Nothing's coming to me.
I don't have his record.
Nah.
NHL playoff record. But, man, he's played 88 games in the
and he's never
NHL
won a final.
Playoffs. He's never won the final.
That's interesting. Who else? I'm trying to think of another guy that has played so many games in the NHL and has never won. I mean, David Backes is a guy that has had a lot of success. Now he's with, the
Canucks
Bruins?
Have anybody during their run?
No,
they were
not really.
disappointing.
They have the
for a while.
Sedin brothers, that are always pretty good. But no.
Right, how about MLB?
Ooh, this is a good little topic. MLB pressure.
Kershaw.
Yes, good call.
Kershaw and the Dodgers. I mean, baseball's a lot different.
Not Trout, right?
Because he's got nothing around
right.
him. I mean, Kershaw does, and Kershaw's had some bad moments.
That's true.
The
some
other
bad
guy,
postseason moments.
I know he's really young. Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
I mean, he's having another heck of a year, right?
Yeah.
After he's injured last year. But the Nationals as a franchise have just been really disappointing once they get there.
McCutchen, would you put him in there? He just has never really had the...
And he doesn't have the expectations of Harper and Kershaw. I'd probably put Kershaw because he has had struggles.
That's a good one. With Clayton Kershaw. I mean, it is time, right? It's time.
I'd pick them.
I mean, the Dodgers are... What is their payroll? $300 million?
Something like that.
It was like $280 last year, and Kershaw still... does not get that, and he's been thanks to the Cardinals. He's been beaten up a few times in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So that I think Kershaw's a no-brainer.
He's also had some really good games.
Yes, he
too.
has. I think with a bullet, though, I think Kershaw's the guy in MLB. How about soccer?
Schweinsteiger. I just wanted to say Schweinsteiger.
That's pretty good. That's our homeland, right? What do we call it?
Germany.
Our motherland.
Deutschland.
No, what do we say that America's our homeland, but Germany's our motherland? How do you always say that? You always have a term for that I think is funny. Because Jeremy and I are both German.
A fatherland is a nation of your ancestors.
Well, that'd be it then.
Yeah.
So Germany is my fatherland.
The motherland refers to the country of your birth. All right, wait. They both mean the same thing.
You know what? I was going to... Check this out because this is funny. Check out Harry in the other room. Because I told him I was going to bring him. I was going to bring him on, so he's sitting in there with headphones on, like ready to go. He's never been this engaged in the show.
So motherland is the land of one's mothers or parents.
Okay.
So that would be the United States for us.
Right.
Fatherland, the native land of one's fathers or ancestors.
Okay.
So fatherland would be Germany.
So that's our
motherland is
the United States. All right, that's cool. Harry, do you want to talk on the radio real quick?
What were you going to bring him
Here's
on
what
for?
I was going to bring up. We had somebody on the Jupiter's the Crossing, on the Chief Bauer text line. So many different things. I can't get mine to work. Is yours having issues?
Mine works great.
I'm happy for you.
You should be.
In fact, we have proof of that because he walked today.
That's right.
I cannot bring this down, but somebody asked about what kind of supplements can college athletes...
Yeah, I mentioned that Julian Pearl needs to get into a program and have nutrition and supplements and stuff like that.
I didn't want to go with that, but I wanted to ask the difference. Like Harry, I was going to ask him, like this kid we know needs to put on weight.
And certain kids come from poor backgrounds.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
That's where I was getting to, where he's going to have as much food as he would like.
That's exactly right.
That's what I was meaning with this.
Well, and what I wanted to bring Harry on for was because, like, when we talk about Harry, like, when you guys, Harry Black was an offensive lineman, walk-on for the Illini. When you guys meet to eat, how many different things are there, and how much of that is really absolutely monitored and watched as to what you guys can eat each time?
All the food is at training table. You have two situations. You have training table for all the athletes, which will be a standard day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They have it usually chicken, some kind of pasta. It's all healthy stuff. Doesn't taste the best, honestly.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Healthy, right?
Yeah, but you usually have a nutritionist in there. When it's say it's training camp, we'll always have our nutritionists in there, and we have different vitamins at the end. They make sure that you take them, make sure you stay hydrated.
So does an offensive lineman eat different than a cornerback?
Oh, yes.
I mean, in other words, do they want you? In other words, they want you to eat different.
It depends on what kind of offensive lineman it is. Say you have, perfect example, you have Nick Algretti or me. For me, they want me to fill my plate and eat anything I can to gain weight. My thing here was they always wanted me to gain more and more weight.
Like Christian DeLauro came in at 240.
Yeah.
Darte Lee comes in at 340.
Yeah.
So you see the difference there.
Yeah, there's nothing against Darte or Nick, but they always want them to eat less or maybe eat more salads or stuff like that.
I just think that's interesting that, I mean, for as a normal college kid, when I was down there, it was just whatever you could get your hands on to eat. And for you guys, not only is there food there, but also they have specific that they want each kind of position to eat. I think that's pretty cool.
And then you guys get all the protein and stuff, right?
Yeah, well, that's more after workouts. Right. We have muscle milk or the Gatorade 3 or whatever it is, and beef jerky and just stuff like that for recovery.
Not Bud Light?
Not usually.
I mean,
I don't think that's illegal to supply.
That put weight on me. I don't understand.
Not good weight.
Oh, no. You're right. All right, Harry, thank you. I just felt bad. Little Harry's in there with his things on, his headphones, and I'm like, I did say to bring him on, and then he sat there for 10 minutes and listened to us talk. All right, if you want to weigh in, 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255. Jeremy has one more segment to fill before he's gone for a week.
You're bringing up the topic. What's the tease? What do we got coming up next?
I have no idea. Can you give me 4 minutes?
That coming up next.
It is the Tay and J Show.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Urbana's food truck rallies are back. Shake up your lunch routine and join in the last Tuesday of the month from April to October at the Urbana Civic Center, 108 East Water Street in downtown Urbana. Make sure you check out the City of Urbana Facebook page or visit urbanaillinois.us/foodtruck_rally for an updated list of your favorite food trucks that are participating the last Tuesday of the month through October. See you there.
Shop local. Support your community and get healthy at Urbana's Market at the Square each and every Saturday, May through November, rain or shine, from 7 to noon on the corner of Illinois and Vine in downtown Urbana.
Shop and enjoy Illinois-grown products, including meat, dairy, honey, baked goods, produce, flowers, plants, arts, crafts, and food trucks.
Market goers will also enjoy chef demos and samples on the first Thursday of each month. Make sure to check out their new website, urbanamarket.org, for info about vendors, programs, and much more.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air, they all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111.
Hey, this is Brad again with Kramer Siding and Window Company, and for over 60 years, we've been providing worry-free home improvements. If you've thought about either siding, windows, maybe you need to replace that roof, how about a deck, a pergola, awnings? We also have the four-season sunrooms and screen rooms, or the gutter helmet. If any of those home improvements are in your near future, call us right now at Kramer Siding or stop by our beautiful showroom at 708 North Country Fair Drive.
Got a question? Talk to our experts now at StevieJay.com. Experts are there, ready to answer your questions for free. Home improvement questions? Our experts from Kramer Siding and Windows can help. Thinking you could use some extra help with landscaping? Think Country Arbor's Nursery. Experts are online, waiting to talk to you at StevieJay.com. Talk to Dr. Shu and our experts from West Main Dental to keep your smile bright. They are the Stevie J Broadcasting experts. Ask an expert today at StevieJay.com. That's StevieJay.com.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 3535 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 3535.
As spring brings new color to the world, why not bring new color to your walls? Ask Sherwin-Williams during the 4-day super sale and save 40% off paints and stains April 21st through the 24th. With such great deals, you can give your whole home a color makeover. Your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams paint store is right around the corner. Find it at sherwinwilliams.com/save. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Oh, hey, hi, hello there. It's me, your air conditioner. You can call me AC if you want, but Mr. Conditioner is my dad's name. Okay, listen, you may have noticed that I'm using a lot of energy right now, and that's why you need to call an expert. Yep, the experts can give me a precision tune-up, so you'll save up to 30% on energy bills, and I won't have to work so hard, which is great because I'm about to pass out.
At Chief Bauer Service Experts, save $41 off an AC Precision Tune-Up. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com. For expert service guaranteed.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
Need new tires? How would you like to save $200 on a set of 4 select Goodyear tires? Right now at CarX Tire and Auto, get up to $200 in savings when you purchase a set of 4 Goodyear tires and use the CarX Drive Card credit card. Your Champaign CarX man has the right tires for your vehicle at any of his 3 convenient locations. And now up to $200 off. Stop in, call, or schedule online at CarX.com.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
See store for details.
Beacon Insurance and your local independent agent are committed to providing the best coverage options and the best service possible. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at beaconinsurance.com and on social media. Check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/Beacon Insurance. It's a great way to learn more about insurance for your auto, home, life, or business. You'll stay up to date with important announcements. Plus, they'll throw in a few fun facts along the way. For beyond the expected information, follow Beacon Insurance on Facebook today.
Our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month is Brian Malik from the Champaign County Sheriff's Department.
So what does your day look like?
It's different every day. You go into the sheriff's office and grab some civil papers to serve some people, and then you respond to calls. You do traffic stops. When it's nice out, you get out and talk to people in the community that are out on the streets walking, play basketball with kids like a lot of our guys do.
Yeah, you probably sandbag the kids because your former Champaign Central lead sectional player. Brian Malik, could you shoot the 3?
I could. I was very good.
Yeah.
At least in my own mind.
Can you shoot with a vest on?
A little more difficult. You had about 25 or 30 pounds. It makes it a little more difficult to get the ball up there.
You always have to be keyed up. Do you have to go into a situation knowing anything can happen here and I got to be really on it?
Yeah. Most people, when they call for the sheriff's office, most of the time they're having a very bad day. And you show up and you try to do your best to make their day a little better. It doesn't always work, but you're doing your best to make it happen.
And brought to you by F.E. Moran Security Solutions. Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday mornings 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
All right, Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lon Tay, Jeremy Werner. Everybody traveling to the Illinois Marathon 5K tonight. Have fun with that. And then, of course, the half marathon and the marathon next year. Every year, Jeremy, you and Carp and I talk about we should run in that sometime.
Yeah.
Can we do
life happens.
I agree with you. The half marathon, could we do that? No. Well, Carp,
I want to test myself in that at some point. I should probably run a 10K first. I know I could do that.
So the half would be what, 13 mile?
Yeah, that's a lot.
So if
the most I've ever run at one time was 6 miles.
Ooh. Well, could you do 4?
4 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did 5 miles twice this week.
So what if you and Carp both did, what if he did 7, you did 5, and I closed it out with that strong 2-mile run at the end? Not quite a 3K.
We could do a 10K.
Or 3K, not quite a 5K.
We could do a 10K.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So we would just...
Carp would definitely be able to finish that, no problem.
He could do that in a heartbeat.
But if I could do that in under 55 minutes, I'd be pretty happy.
You think Andrew would run alongside you?
No, Andrew would smoke me.
He'd just take off running.
Your 10-year-old son would smoke
I don't know
me.
why I don't ever get him in the Illinois Marathon, but everybody, or not the marathon, but the 5K, so have fun tonight on that. You are taking off and heading to Florida. What's the big plan for Torin getting on the beach? First of all, we got to get
flying? We got to get him on the plane.
Oh.
And hopefully that goes okay. I keep telling myself and my wife that the plane ride is going to end.
Does he have
it's a 2.5-hour ride.
Yes. Does he have any kind of a cold right now?
No.
Okay, that's good.
He probably will end up sick after this trip.
I know, but you don't, like, if you put a baby on that already has kind of a cold and, it hurts their ears.
Yeah.
Because, you think about us.
So we're going to feed him on the ascent and the descent.
Okay.
So that's our
good idea. Good
because
idea.
that'll pop their ears or, do the same thing as us as chewing gum. So we hope that goes okay.
Okay.
Hopefully he sleeps, but I doubt that'll happen.
You're going to be the ones, like, get ready for the looks. Like, not bad looks. Like, people don't have bad looks.
I think people, if you are looking at a parent with a baby,
nobody cares.
8 months old.
Nobody cares.
Like, if you have a 2-year-old that's acting up,
that's
and they're kicking people, they don't know any better. But if you don't tell them, hey, sorry.
Yeah.
Right? That's all people want is this acknowledgement.
Sorry about that. Johnny, quit doing that.
Yeah, that your kid is kind of annoying people.
A little punk.
That's what they do.
Right, that's what we do.
But as long as you have sorry
about that, we're trying.
If you have under a year kid and he's crying, what? Everyone's had that moment. I think you're more stressed about it than people around you.
Totally
and if someone around you is that upset, don't sit next to the people with a baby.
Yeah, right.
Because we're on Southwest where it's you sit where you want.
Oh, okay.
So we get on the plane, we'll be at the front of the plane.
Got it.
And hopefully we have people who can understand they're sitting next to a baby.
Can I go full disclosure here?
Yeah.
I would be absolutely the guy the entire time, even if Torin was crying, that I'd be like, oh man, he's not happy, or I would be
trying to play with him.
I would be very supportive, but when I first was sitting in my seat and I watched you and Tiff come on with the baby, and I'd be like, oh crap!
Yeah, sure.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
I totally understand.
I'd be like, please don't sit next to me.
But for me, we'll get on the plane first on Southwest.
Yes,
people with kids get on the plane first, so we should get the front row.
Boom.
So that there's only 3 people behind us.
Boom.
And people across from us.
Then you'll be in good shape,
right? That's what I'm hoping.
Well, that's going to be fun. I want a picture.
That's the only thing I'm worried about right now.
Right.
And then we'll be on the beach. We'll have Mom. We'll have a couple of our friends down there.
I cannot wait to get to see him on the beach. That's going to be fun. Taking him down to the ocean, letting his feet get wet. Oh, that'll be awesome.
He'll probably hate it.
I know he will. What the heck?
Hey, thanks to our guest today, Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. Also, thanks to Kevin Fishbane, Pro Football Weekly. Carp will be phoning him for me next week.
So you're going to be gone when Mark Smith decides to come to Illinois?
When he decides. And I'll be gone during the draft.
Oh, that's right. Huh? So we're going to have to do draft and everything next week. Huh? We can do this, Jeremy.
You got it, Lon.
We can do this, I promise you. All right, you have a great trip.
Thanks, mate.
That'll be fun. And we will see everybody Monday. It is the Tay and J Show. Cardinal baseball tonight, by the way.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's a familiar place you know. It's a relationship to hold on to. It's a place for families, a part of growing up, and a key to staying healthy. There are warm, friendly faces, people you trust because you know you're in good hands, because you know there's complete passion, professionalism, and heart. If it's your first time or another visit, you get the care you deserve at Illini Smiles Dental Care. Dr. Shu, Dr. Fott, and Dr. Lou and their team are ready to see you now. Illini Smiles Dental Care, 303 West Springfield Avenue in Champaign. Book your visit online today at IlliniSmilesDentalCare.com. That's IlliniSmilesDentalCare.com. Illini Smiles Dental Care. We love to see you smile.
The Normal Corn Belters open their 2017 season at the Corn Crib in Normal, Illinois against the Gateway Grizzlies, Tuesday, May the 16th. Game time 6:35. Gates open at 5:35. Call 309-454-2255 or go to normalbaseball.com for tickets. Again, call 309-454-2255 or go to normalbaseball.com for tickets.
Hi, I'm Sam Banks, inviting you to the Don Moyer Boys and Girls Club 28th Annual Steak and Burger Dinner at the Hilton Garden Inn this Thursday. This year's keynote speaker is former Illini basketball great and current Big Ten Network basketball analyst Deion Thomas. Events like the Steak and Burger help kids have a safe place to come after school and find help with homework, participate in activities that encourage positive character and values, and spend time with a positive adult. Buy your tickets or sponsor a table. Call 355-KIDS or visit dmbgc.org.
Renew, energize, and donate. Join Keller Williams Realty of Champaign, the real estate center of Illinois, for their annual Red Day, Thursday, May 11th, the company's annual day of service dedicated to renewing, energizing, and donating to their local communities. As part of the Red Day effort, Keller Williams Associates will spend the day with See You at Home, building new sheds, painting, light remodeling, and landscaping at multiple locations offered by See You at Home. For more information about Red Day, visit kwchampagneredday.com. That's kwchampagneredday.com. Go to kwchampagneredday.com.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Steve Lennox.